thinking, yang dimana kita berputar dengan pola-pola lama, atau kita mau merubah kehidupan kita menuju kepada lateral thinking dengan pola baru, dan di situ kita akan banyak sekali menemukan keindahan-keindahan hidup ini yang sebelumnya tidak ditemukan. Kuncinya adalah latihan. Karena sekali lagi, tidak pernah kehidupan ini akan berubah, tidak pernah kehidupan ini akan membaik kalau salah satu poin penting dalam kehidupan yang namanya berpikir tidak dirubah. Maka change your thought, rubahlah pikiranmu, disitulah kehidupan baru akan terjadi. Terima kasih.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine and happy Sunday, everyone. Yes, it is the 25th of February, 2024, and just past 6 in the a.m. as we greet you, like we always do here from the See Today News studios, from the cozy confines of our living room-like decor, because it is a Sunday morning, and for the next 3 hours, as usual, we'll be delivering you all the latest news and updates from Indonesia and beyond, alongside your sports and entertainment updates as well. A couple of talk shows coming up, but we will discuss all of that momentarily because we have got to say happy Sunday to the Sunday Weekend Squad. We've got Messi and Sarah joining me today. Guys, it is the last Sunday and the last weekend of the month.
It is.
This month flew right by. How's your February been so far?
It's been great. It was my mom's birthday on the 17th.
Happy belated.
Thank you. So we had a celebration, and obviously 14th was Valentine's Day, but also voting day.
Yeah, you were busy that day.
Yeah, I was pretty busy, but I still got it in time. I still got it in time to vote, and I still got it in time to have dinner. So best of both worlds, really.
Hopefully got a discount with your Inky Pinky, right?
I did. It was nice. How about you guys?
Well, it's funny because you know how time goes by so fast, and then they said January, you know, the joke was it's a trial month, and then February, get your things together, your aspirations for this year to get on track.
Right.
I think I'll have 2 trial months for this year. I don't know about you at home.
Yeah.
But, well, let's see how everything plays out in March.
That's true.
Anyway, let's start from today on Sunday. Let's get up, let's rise and shine. And once again, I'm Sarah. It's very nice to see you once again on the C Morning Show. And today we will have special talk shows, just how Paul have mentioned. So make sure you stay with us. And you can always connect with us on social media at C Today News on Instagram, X, and also YouTube.
And good morning as well. I'm your host, Hattie Messi. I'd like to greet our viewers. They're now able to tune in from Foxtel's Flash Australia, Macau Cable TV Channel 84, Vision Philippines Channel 58, Air Cable Philippines, and Singtel Singapore Channel 15, and finally, StarHub Channel 720. All right, let's start the show with the headlines.
Scores of people protested on Saturday calling for the reopening of one of the main hospitals across the Gaza Strip that has been closed since Israeli troops briefly captured it in the early weeks of the war.
The Singapore police have issued an arrest warrant for the former CEO of Yuzu for suspected involvement in the company's misleading financial reporting.
In Indonesia, Mount Gamalama in Ternate, Maluku has been showing increased activities over the past 2 days.
And we will have a discussion later on in regards to turning campaign waste into valuable products. And we also have a special performance, guys, coming up a little bit later on in the program. All right. First, let's get to some feature stories like we always do on the weekend. We all know that golden hour is definitely happy hour, especially if one spends the end of the day sitting on the beach while watching a beautiful sunset.
And there is a special spot on the western coast of Lampung where one can enjoy a stunning view of the sun kissing. So let's take a look.
There is no better way to end the day than watching the sunset on the horizon. And this is one of the best sunset moments captured at Lampung's Pesisir Barat Regency. The western coasts of Lampung have been offering gorgeous places where visitors can catch the sunset for free. Tourists can enjoy a stroll along the coast for as much as they like. Many would also take photos with the ocean view. And for those who enjoy water sports, the coast offers an ideal waves for surfing. There are loads of activities that can be done while waiting for the sunset.
Kalau di pantai ini kita berlibur aja sih Bang, nyantai-nyantai, ngeliat sunset sama keluarga. Datang dari Bandar Lampung menuju sini itu buat ngeliat sunset aja Bang. Dia sunsetnya indah banget kan di sini di kru ini. Apalagi fasilitas jalan juga bagus ke sini.
Lodging facilities are also offered for those who wish to spend the night at the beach area. In the morning, visitors can buy fresh seafood from the fishermen. See Today contributor reporting from Pesisir Barat, Lampung.
Now I'm gonna move on to another island in Indonesia because Bangka Belitung, the islands, is known for its rich culinary heritage, with lots of local dishes to savor, and quail spicy curry is one of them. The legendary recipe has been passed through generations.
Now, the cooking process is actually considered quite unique as it still uses firewood. So let's now have a closer look at this local culinary gem.
This is quail mangut, a local dish from South Bangka Regency that is rarely found nowadays. Yes, the legendary recipe, often called by the locals as Puhako Nene or Grandma's heirloom recipe, is getting hard to find over the time. But little do people know that it contains loads of spices that are beneficial for health. In addition to that, the traditional food tastes incredibly good with a strong aroma of the local spices. Aside from using the ancestral recipe, the dish is also cooked in a traditional way using firewood. Meanwhile, the ingredients include chilies, curcuma, galangal, lemongrass, bay leaves, tamarind, shallots, garlic, cassava, salt, flavor enhancer, and not to mention the quail meat. The cooking process begins with the smoking of the quail meat. The method makes it tough-cut tender while adding a distinctive smokiness aroma to the meat. After that, grind all the spices until it has a nearly fine texture. Then stir-fry them into the pan and add the salt, flavor enhancer, lemongrass, and bay leaves. Next, add tamarinds and water to the mix and wait until it is boiling. Now for the final touch, put the smoked quail meat to the pan and wait for 10 to 15 minutes until it is good to go. Many favor this culinary for its savory taste that is complemented by the local spices of South Bangka.
Kalau ini menu mangut kuning burung puyuh atau buali ini, kalau kita cari di tempat lain agak jarang. Jadi yang ada cuma di tempat kuning PM ini. Kalau rasa nggak usah dijamin lah, nggak usah khawatir kita. Juara rasanya, karena dia dimasak dengan kayu api. Nggak ada di Pangkal Pinang ini masak dengan kayu api, cuma di sini juara rasanya.
Nama rumah makan kita Lempah Kuning Pondok PM Bumbu Tumbuk, pakai kayu api yang mungkin sekarang sudah langka ya di restoran-restoran lain yang mungkin sudah pakai kompor, suka pakai blender, tapi kita masih dengan konsep tradisional, bumbu kita pakai tumbuk, masak kita pakai kayu api dan rempah-rempah yang khas dari Bangka asli. Kunyit-kunyit kampung, cabai-cabai kampung, belacan-belacan tobuali sama lengkuas-lengkuas yang benar-benar fresh untuk bumbunya. Dan untuk menu di sini kita khususnya lempah kuning dan lempah mangut. Nah, lempah mangut ini kita ada yang spesial, yang mungkin tidak ada di tempat lain. Cuma ada di sini satu-satu ataupun sikok-sikok kan kata orang Bangke ya. Lempah mangut burung puyuh.
The quail mangut is quite affordable with 50,000 rupiahs per serving. The restaurant also offers Bangka traditional food such as lempah kuning that is served with various kinds of fresh fish. Well, do you want to try one? See Today contributor reporting from Pangkal Pinang, Bangka Belitung Islands.
Are you hungry now? Well, if you're not, we still have some food recommendations up for you. And this one is from the province of Riau, which is known for its abundant natural resources, its Malay culture, local wisdom, and of course, its culinary delights.
Now, one of these legendary foods that is popular among tourists in particular are sago noodles, which is very rich in taste, as you can see after this.
For those of you foodies who currently stay in Pekanbaru City, do not miss the legendary Selat Panjang Sago noodles. The traditional Riau Malay food is served in every corner of the city, including here. Located along Ronggo Warsito Street, Sago Noodles Bututi offers various kinds of broth that will definitely satisfy your palate. And for seafood lovers, you can indulge in the savory and spicy taste of the tom yum noodles, which is also the main menu of this restaurant. The cooking process begins with the cutting of all ingredients, namely shrimps, squid, fish meatballs, cauliflower, carrots, and lemongrass. Next, put the shrimps and squid into the pot of water. Afterwards, put all ingredients into the mix. Then put our main ingredients, sago noodles, into the tom yum broth. Stir the mix until the seasonings seep into the dish. And now tom yum sago noodles is ready to be served.
Bumbu ini bumbu rahasia dari keluarga kita, bumbu tom yumnya yang kita racik sendiri dan membuat hasil dari rasa tom yum itu sangat pas di lidah masyarakat. Menu utamanya itu, yang utamanya itu dari misago. Jadi diolah dari menjadi misago kering, misago lembab, misago kuah, dan ini yang terbaru yaitu misago tom yum. Mulai dari harga 12.000 di misago, terus varian, dan di misago tom yumnya itu 35.000. Satu hari perkiraan ada sekitar 300 sampai.
Moanti Islands is the largest sago producing area in Riau. Sago has long been a staple food for locals, and it was once served for the guests of Malay kings. That makes this culinary delight popular among many around the world. See today reporting from Pekanbaru, Riau.
No, we seem to be talking a lot about food this morning, and very fitting because I've told you, Messi, as well, that I've taken road trips in the last few years across Indonesia. Now I just hate to fly these days. Road trips are just so much more fun because you can stop by various places and try out what culinary delights they have for that particular area. Now, if you're planning a road trip anytime soon, especially to Bengkulu, make sure that you stop by Pesisir Barat Regency and take yourself a quick rest.
Yes, because there is one of the best places to visit is Batu Tihang Beach, which is situated along the western highway of Sumatra.
Now here you can enjoy the horizon while marveling at the ethereal beauty of a 50-meter tall rock.
This is Batu Tihang Beach that is located in Kota Karang Village, Pesisir Barat Regency, Lampung. What makes it different from other places is a 50-meter tall rock that becomes the highlight of a tourist destination. In local dialect, Batu means rock, while Tihang means column. With that being said, Batu Tihang means rock that's shaped like a column. Situated along the western highway of Sumatra in between Lampung and Bengkulu, the tourist destination becomes one of the best places for travelers to stretch their legs during a road trip.
Batu Tihang ini sebetulnya tiap hari ada aja pengunjung ya dari luar, mungkin mereka mampir istirahat. Tetapi waktu yang paling banyak itu adalah hari tertentu seperti weekend, itu juga hari libur, termasuk juga hari Lebaran dan Tahun Baru itu luar biasa.
The beach is only 50 kilometers away from Lampung-Bengkulu provincial border. It takes only a 30-minute ride from Pesisir Barat downtown to reach the area. Meanwhile, the astonishing 50-meter tall rock that can be seen from the western highway of Sumatra has successfully grabbed travelers' attention.
Untuk pemandangannya bagus, tapi untuk yang lainnya mungkin ada perbaikan lah buat parkir atau untuk tempat duduknya itu ya. Pemandangannya bagus, bisa dari kejauhan juga kita bisa menikmatinya.
Batu Tihang Beach has long been managed by the locals. And in an effort to attract more visitors to the area, local government will be collaborating with the communities to provide facilities such as gazebos and prayer room.
Ya, tentu saat ini Batu Tihang ini dikelola oleh warga yang memang kebetulan dia berdekatan dengan lokasi dan memang belum disentuh oleh pemerintahan setempat atau desa. Kita akan bangun dari nol, mungkin dari gazebo, kemudian sarana prasarananya seperti kamar mandi atau sekolahnya, juga sampai di pelang namanya.
With a quite affordable entrance fee of 5,000 rupiahs, visitors can enjoy all the beauties while having a rest from a long trip. For those of you who plan to stop by Batu Tihang Beach, the best time to visit the area is during the day until the late afternoon as the seawater starts receding. C Today contributor reporting from Pesisir Barat, Lampung.
Alrighty, everybody, we're up for our first short break, but when we come back, we're going to have news from around Indonesia. So stay tuned on the C Morning Show, only on C Today.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Kenapa sih dia selalu mau eksis kalau aku syuting? Ijo sama yang merah ini tuh rumah pribumi, jadi aku taruh di dalam, makanya rasanya lebih welcome gitu. Modern banget. Sempit banget kalau ceilingnya pendek. Menurut aku ya, kita belum ngerasa memiliki kalau belum ada sejarahnya. asalnya ini dari Bangka. Jadi kalau lapis legit itu kalau nggak pakai Wisman kayaknya kurang sip.
Kalau zaman saya dulu masih kecil, lapis legit itu barang mahal.
Rezekinya itu berlapis-lapis.
Agar supaya tradisi dan budaya Tionghoa itu tetap lestari.
Gue yang penting apa yang gue makan bisa gue buang pada saat gue olahraga gitu.
Jadi ambillah kalau ketemu mungkin dia ketawa. Dengan proses, gue bersyukur banget Kubu Junior tuh sempat bubar tahun 2016-2017.
Feelingnya sabu-sabu, karena sabu-sabu kita cuma makannya setahun sekali.
Kalau kita dengerin Spotify ya, Pak gimana sih caranya aku bisa masuk di sini gitu. Ya nggak boleh menghalangi lah.
If you want the best coffee beans in the world, this is where you get them, the city of Sidikalang. Now, most Sumatran coffee beans are grown in the area in and around Lake Toba.
Kebetulan di tempat ini kan berada di ketinggian 1380, jadi aroma dan cita rasa itu khas.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. As mentioned prior to the break, we've got some updates from right here in Indonesia. As mentioned in our headlines, Mount Gamalama in Ternate, Maluku has been showing increased activity over the past 2 days, and officials are now barring activities within 1.5 kilometers from the mountain.
On Saturday, a column of thick white smoke continued to rise from the mountain, reaching up to 500 meters in height.
Observers also recorded multiple seismic activities between midnight and 8 a.m. Officials have also advised residents to remain calm.
Ini dari pukul 00 sampai 08 WIB terjadi kegempaan vulkanik terekam di seismik kami itu 1 kali kejadian, ditambah lagi gempa tektonik jauh 1 kali juga. Dan kalau sesuai data itu dan kita bandingkan dengan kemarin, memang ada penurunan karena di tanggal 23 kemarin sempat terekam kegempaan vulkanik mencapai 5 kali kejadian, ditambah gempa hembusan 6 kali dan tektonik lokal 4 kali.
Soekarno-Hatta Airport Police have dismantled a child pornography ring with 5 suspects in custody.
The Violent Crimes Against Children International Task Force had previously notified authorities about the group, leading to investigations into the financial transactions of one suspect.
All 5 suspects served in various roles, including handling sales to international clients, as well as providing facilities. They're currently facing charges related to child protection and electronic information laws and face up to 15 years in prison.
Informasi ini adalah hasil kerjasama dengan Satuan Tugas Kekerasan Seksual yang di Amerika yang memberikan informasi kepada kita. Jadi informasi itu kita terima di bulan Agustus 2023, maka kejadian dan peristiwa untuk merekam, menghubungi, berkomunikasi, dan mempergunakan anak sebagai objek untuk kekerasan seksual itu terjadi sebelumnya. Dan kita yakini bahwa proses itu sudah lama terjadi, tetapi terungkapnya mulai dari 2023. Seperti tadi disampaikan oleh Pak Kasat bahwa ada kurang lebih 1.000 gambar dan kurang lebih 3.000 kalau tidak salah tadi video yang tentu sudah diproduksi, dihasilkan. Memang produksinya dengan secara manual menggunakan peralatan handphone, dan itu bisa saja kapan terjadi dan tidak perlu memerlukan keahlian, sehingga memang kita yakini bahwa proses untuk menghasilkan, memproduksi konten yang berbau pornografi ini sudah lebih dari setahun dilakukan oleh si pelaku ini.
In market news, prices of key commodities including rice are still climbing in some parts of Indonesia, leading to outcry.
In Kendal, Central Java, locally produced rice now sells for approximately 15,000 rupiah, which is up over 30%.
The Mentik variety now sells for 17,000 rupiah and the Mentik Wangi Super 18,000 rupiah. Sellers are now calling for price control measures.
In a Jakarta market, various types of chilies are selling for an average of 90,000 per kilogram, nearly twice the previous price. Many sellers have complained of lower revenues as a buyer's cutback on purchase.
One of them has suggested that lower production was behind these skyrocketing prices. Moving on, the Indonesian Navy now has a simulator to help boost the damage control capability of ship crews.
And the Navy Chief Admiral Muhammad Ali inaugurated the facility yesterday.
The Second Fleet headquarters in Surabaya now houses a simulator to help train ship crews in damage control. In development between 2022 and 2023, the facility occupies an area over 2,000 square meters and able to provide realistic damage control situation. Speaking in the inauguration ceremony on February the 24th, Navy Chief Admiral Muhammad Ali outlined the goals for the day.
Let's move on to the next story. International Childhood Cancer Day was commemorated with engaging activities for patients and parents, all organized by the Indonesian Children's Oncology Foundation.
And these activities include drawing, performances, cake decorating, as well as a fun walk. Let's take a look.
The Indonesian Children's Oncology Foundation, or YOAI, is holding various activities in Jakarta on February 24th and 25th to commemorate International Childhood Cancer Day, which fall on February 15th. The activities involve childhood cancer patients and their families. One of the activities is called Writing It Out Loud, where patients, survivors, parents, volunteers, companions, and health workers are asked to write down the challenges they face. The result will be attached to a media board that will be carried out during a fun walk. Additionally, there will be a cake decorating agenda and many more activities.
This year, the theme of the celebration is unveiling challenges. That means that we have, the parents or the patient itself have to write out loud what they want, what they have in mind to upgrade the treatment of childhood cancer in everywhere, in every country.
Also facilitating the activity, namely the Cancer Buster Community or CBC, pioneered by survivors of childhood cancer.
The children patients that are still fighting with cancer to be able to look up to us and to believe that there are cancer survivors, and in that case for them to be able to crush the cancer and to become a survivors like us. That's the main goal for us. And on top of that, we also hope that in creating this community, we could empower each other as survivors, because become a survivor is not, it means that we need to enter into the real world, right? We need to return to school or maybe find a job. And it will be difficult for cancer survivors because they spend most of their time before in medication.
In addition to this initiative, YOAI offers a range of other programs aimed at assisting children with cancer. These include providing medication support, implementing recovery programs, offering counseling services, conducting public awareness campaigns, and more. Modi Kalisha and Nico Arianto for See Today.
we'll be taking a short break, but after the break, we have Paul set to bring some sports updates for us today. So, Paul, what updates are there from the world of sports?
Thanks, Sarah. It is the weekend, so we have some of the latest highlights and coverage from the EPL. Yes, Arsenal seem to be continuing their winning ways. We also have some tennis updates from the Dubai Tennis Championships, as well as basketball action from the NBA. Yes, King James is back on the court as well. We'll bring you all that and more when we return here on the C Morning Show. Stay tuned. Sports is coming up next.
The Indonesian State-Owned Enterprises Ministry has underlined its commitment to supporting small and medium enterprises by launching vending machines at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport.
Qatar has advanced to the quarterfinals of the 2023 AFC Asian Cup after defeating Palestine 2-1 in the round of 16 at the Al Ayed Stadium in Al Khor.
So we'll be back with the daily dose of entertainment. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depotsi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh. Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
The China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ertupen County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
Minister January Makamba was a guest in one of our news programs, a 3-hour news show yesterday. While he was in the studio, he used the opportunity to explain the current state of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Indonesia.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
China has been racing against time for rescue and disaster relief work after a landslide on Monday struck a mountainous village in southwest China's Yunnan province.
Pelawak tuh ramean, tiga. Ini sendiri.
Komika itu nggak harus dilahirkan ya.
Ini lagu untuk siapa, Min? Oh, yang senang dengan baju kuning. Berarti partai itu ya. Oke deh, nanti kita puterin langsung. Kita muterin Lampung sampai pusing. Awal gua ngerosting itu ditemuin sama Bang Panji sebenarnya. Nah, jadi mau tahu gua di roasting Kang Maman gimana? Langsung aja saksikan Teman Bicara Maman.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show. It is 6:30 in the a.m. and time for your first sports update of the morning. We're going to begin with some action from the English Premier League as Manchester City secured a hard-earned 1-0 victory at Bournemouth on Saturday as Phil Foden's goal moved them within 1 point of leaders Liverpool. Foden converted from close range in the 24th minute after some good work by Erling Haaland, and it proved just enough for Pep Guardiola's side in what was a difficult match. City lacked their usual fluency but still stretched their undefeated league run to 11 with a second successive 1-0 victory after a midweek win over Brentford. City has now collected 59 points from 26 games with Liverpool, who play Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final on Sunday. So if we rewind back to a few days ago, Pep Guardiola's team were made to work hard for all 3 points against Brentford, and they were perhaps a little bit lucky to get the win in a testing encounter here at Vitality Stadium. Haaland got the all-important goal against the Bees, and the Norwegians should have given the visitors a lead in the first half in this one, but was denied by Neto midway through the first half. However, as mentioned, it was Phil Foden who has now scored in his past 5 appearances against the Cherries, who was on hand to guide home his 16th goal of the season. This marks his joint most in a single campaign. Meanwhile, the visitors rode their luck after halftime as Bournemouth pushed for an equalizer with a combination of wasteful finishing by the hosts and some smart goalkeeping from Ederson in order to secure City the hard-earned 3 points. City have now won all 14 of their Premier League games against the Cherries, the best 100% record by any one team against another in top-flight history. However, their next 5 league matches are all against teams currently in the top 7 and will go a long way to defining their campaign. Meanwhile, we're going to keep it right here in England as Arsenal defeated Newcastle 4-1 in match week 26 of the 2023-24 Premier League season, which took place at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday. Arsenal fully dominated the match from the start. The Gunners opened the scoring during the 18th minute through Newcastle's Sven Botman's own goal. Kai Havertz added a second goal for Arsenal. The North London club managed to control 65% of ball possession during the first half alone. And after the halftime break, Arsenal continued their dominance, and Mikel Arteta's team scored 2 more goals through Bukayo Saka and Jakub Kiwior. And in the 84th minute, Newcastle was able to minimize the deficit through a goal by Joe Willock. And with this result, though, Arsenal are now 3rd in the standings with 58 points, while Newcastle are sitting in 8th with 37. So another great season so far by Arsenal. Now, if you remember last year, by this stage last term, Arsenal's title challenge had already begun to implode with defeats by Everton and Manchester City sandwiched either side of a home draw against Brentford. And in the end, they finished 5 points behind Pep Guardiola's side, having enjoyed an 8-point advantage towards the end of January. However, their early season form has not only been as impressive this time around, they look to be peaking nicely for the run-in. An outstanding sequence of results since January has included a well-deserved victory over Liverpool, and they have now scored 25 goals and conceded just 3 times in 6 matches in the English top flight. And not only are they playing with the swagger of early last season, there seems to be a new resilience of this Arsenal team that have perhaps not been evident since their last title triumph all the way back 20 years ago in 2004. And at times in the intervening period, Arsenal have been notably targeted aerially by other Premier League sides at either corners or free kicks. However, Arteta has a physically imposing side this time around, with the likes of Gabriel, Ben White, Kiwior, and William Saliba all capable in the air, and no side has scored more set pieces goals than the Gunners' 19 this term. Let's see if they can continue this momentum towards the end of the season. We'll continue to bring you EPL highlights and results. In the meantime, let's shift our focus to some tennis news as Jasmine Paolini pulled off a gritty comeback victory on Saturday to capture the highest level title of her career, defeating qualifier Anna Kalinskaya 4-6, 7-5, and 7-5 in the WTA 1000 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships final. Paolini, who is the world number 26 who reigns from Italy, outlasted the 40th ranked Kalinskaya in 2 hours and 13 minutes, battling back from a breakdown in each of the second and third sets. Paolini avenged her loss to Kalinskaya from 1 month ago at the Australian Open 4th round, and Saturday's victory now assures her of a top 20 debut when the rankings are updated on Monday. With this victory, Paolini claims her second career singles title on the WTA Tour, and this marks her first at the WTA 1000 level. And from tennis, let's now shift our focus to some basketball news from the NBA. LeBron James is back, and he had 30 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds, while his partner Anthony Davis had 28 points and 13 rebounds in the Los Angeles Lakers' 7th victory in 9 games as they won 123-118 over the San Antonio Spurs on Friday night. Victor Wembanyama had 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists in his first road game against the Los Angeles Lakers. The French rookie sensation scored 16 points in a dominant first quarter. However, Anthony Davis answered his fellow #1 overall pick's challenge with impressive play in the next 2 quarters while the Lakers maintained their lead. Davis was able to sit out the entire final frame of the second game in the back-to-back set, and Jackson Hayes performed quite well in his place against Wembanyama, while the Lakers cruised to their 12th win in 18 games. Meanwhile, D'Angelo Russell had 22 points and 6 assists, while Rui Hachimura added 17 for the Lakers, who haven't been able to move higher than 9th in the Western Conference standings despite their recent surge.
Here's Reeves. LeBron.
So Victor Wembanyama embraced his first opportunity to play away on the road underneath the Lakers' wall of championship banners by getting off to a brilliant start by racking up 13 points and 3 rebounds and drawing 2 fouls from Anthony Davis in the game's first 6 minutes alone. He was up to 20 points by halftime. However, it was after halftime where he faded, where he was just 2 of 6 from the field. Meanwhile, as mentioned, Anthony Davis was able to get some rest, sitting out the entire fourth quarter of the second game of this back-to-back. Jackson Hayes did quite well in his place. They did allow the San Antonio Spurs to finish on a 7-5 run in the final 3.5 minutes to trim the final margin considerably, but it was too little too late as the Lakers managed to hold on for the win. Now, we mentioned D'Angelo Russell's 22 and 6, and this took place on his 28th birthday. And so far, the Lakers are doing quite well, but are still currently sitting in 9th place. Now, Los Angeles returned from the All-Star break, did return from the All-Star break with a loss to Golden State on Thursday. But LeBron James came back strong after missing the Lakers' last 2 games to rest a sore ankle, although he did play the first half of the All-Star game in between. Now, the Lakers are seemingly back to their winning ways with LeBron James running to action, and he and Anthony Davis lead an undefeated starting 5, along with Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell to mark their 6th straight win as this starting lineup. Let's see if they can continue this momentum as beginning on Sunday in Phoenix, the Lakers play 7 of their next 9 games against teams with better records, including another game against the Golden State Warriors, who just beat the Lakers and are surging from the number 10 spot in the West. Things are getting heated, and that rings especially true for the Miami Heat, as Jimmy Butler had 23 points and 9 rebounds before being sent to the locker room early as the Miami Heat held off the New Orleans Pelicans 106-95 on Friday night. Just check out the highlights.
Miami Heat beat New Orleans Pelicans 106-95 on Friday night before an emotionally charged crowd. Bam Adebayo scored 24 points for Miami, which returned from its All-Star break by snapping the Pelicans' 4-game winning streak in what also marked the Heat's 7th straight victory over New Orleans. Miami reserve Thomas Bryant along with Pelicans players Jose Alvarado and Najee Marshall were ejected after the on-court melee with 11 minutes and 19 seconds to go. Even a couple fans were escorted out, one of them after throwing things at Heat players from one of the first few rows. The dust-up began when Heat center Kevin Love grabbed Zion Williamson to prevent a layup after Williamson had stolen the ball from Jimmy Butler in the backcourt. Williamson fell to the court after Love's fall. Duncan Robinson scored 17 points and Tyler Hero scored 15 for the Heat. Hero, however, appeared to hurt his left knee with 1 minute and 40 seconds left and hobbled straight to the locker room after he was helped to his feet. Williamson had 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists for New Orleans, which played a second straight night without high-scoring wing Brandon Ingram and lost for just the second time in 10 games. Guard C.J. McCollum also left the game in the first half with a left ankle injury after initially trying to play through it.
All right, a few things to unpack here. It was revealed after the game that Tyler Hero's injury was not as bad as it initially looked on the court, so he looks to be okay. That's good news for the Heat. Now, the Heat opened Friday's game with a starting lineup of Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, Jimmy Butler, Jovic, and Adebayo. Now, this marks the third straight game that Terry Rozier has missed with a sprained right knee, and it also marks Jovic's third straight start after receiving 7 DNPs, which was coach's decisions, over the past 10 games. Jovic did close this win with just 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in 21 minutes of play. Now, the Heat has already used 29 different starting lineups this season, but this starting unit was one that had already been used. The Heat now improved to 1-2 this season when going with the starting lineup of Hero, Martin, Butler, Jovic, and Adebayo. The Heat outscored the Pelicans by 7 points in the 17 minutes that this starting group was on the court together. The Heat, in addition to missing Rozier, was also without Josh Richardson with a right shoulder dislocation, Orlando Robinson with lower back spasms, and Drew Smith, who had season-ending right knee surgery. Now, the Heat will continue their trip on Monday against the Kings in Sacramento. Then they close the trip with matchups against the Portland Trail Blazers and the Denver Nuggets later on in the week. And starting with the Pelicans, 3 of the 4 games during the Heat's trip come against teams with winning records. The Heat's only game during this week-long stretch against an opponent with a losing record comes on Tuesday against the Portland Trail Blazers. This will obviously test the Heat, who are now 13-17 this season in games against teams currently with a winning record. And there's also the question of whether or not there will be any suspensions. Alvarado obviously coming from off the court, so he looks to probably miss a couple of games and facing a hefty fine. But let's see if the NBA takes any more disciplinary measures against Jimmy Butler or the rest of the Heat. We'll keep you posted on more NBA news later on in the sports recap before the end of our program. But that does it for our sports segment for now. We're going to take another short break here on the program. But when the C Morning Show returns, Messi and Sarah will be back to share with you the latest from the world of entertainment. Stay tuned.
And we have more business updates right here from our nation, where the Association of Indonesian Automotive Manufacturers, or GAIKINDO, reported that over 1 million vehicles were sold in Indonesia last year.
The Indonesian government has announced plans to allocate around 4.8 billion rupiahs for this year's pre-employment program.
Now, the program aims to help boost economic recovery, especially for those affected by COVID-related layoffs.
The Indonesian government is once again providing food aid in the form of rice reserves to support the public amid higher prices of the commodity in the market.
Stok bulog sekarang ini alhamdulillah masih pada posisi yang baik, masih 1,4 juta ton.
Kind of 10 days, the priority has been getting to California and making the miles and saving our money as best we can.
But we're going to ride 80 miles tomorrow. We've just ridden 70 and we're all starving.
Took the first couple of corners and felt pretty comfortable, so I thought I might get it.
So that was just too much rear brake, stalled the engine.
The end of the first day of competition.
The winner of the challenge today was Brody.
Revealed today by generations unborn when they weaved their spell. The Cup of Dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage.
Asalnya itu dari Bangka. Jadi kalau lapis legit itu kalau nggak pakai Wisman kayaknya kurang sip.
Kalau zaman saya dulu masih kecil, lapis legit itu barang mahal.
Iya, itu berlapis-lapis.
Agar supaya tradisi dan budaya Tionghoa itu tetap lestari.
Harus naik satu bukit sampai elevasi gua hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kind of want to die.
If you want the best coffee beans in the world, this is where you get them. The city of Sidikalang.
Now, most Sumatran coffee beans are grown in the area in and around Lake Toba.
Kebetulan di tempat ini kan berada di ketinggian 1380, jadi aroma dan cita rasa itu khas.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everybody. It's time for some entertainment updates, beginning with American music group the Jonas Brothers, who performed for the first time in Indonesia on Saturday night. And just like delving into memory lane, Joe, Nick, and Kevin Jonas brought all Jonatics, that's a new word I've never heard of, to indulge in the nostalgia of the 2000s.
There you go, the early 2000s, the Jonatics all dived into memory lane when the Jonas Brothers performed on stage and energetically entertained the audience at ICE BSD Tangerang, Banten last night. The brothers played their hit songs such as Burnin' Up, The Year 3000, That's Just the Way We Roll, and Love Bug.
They also didn't forget to perform songs from the iconic musical film Camp Rock that catapulted their name, such as Introducing Me and Gotta Find You. Without much bridging, they continued their stage act with SOS, one of the most popular songs of 2007. That was what, 17 years ago?
Wow, 17 years.
My goodness.
Well, are you a Jonatics?
I love the Jonas Brothers. I mean, I watched them in London.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, 2020, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the Jonatics here, who are mostly from the 90s generation, grew up with the pop rock band, sang along with the brothers. And the Jonas Brothers performance is a salute to the band's album discography, hence the name Jonas Brothers, celebrating 5 albums world tour.
Are you a fan of the Jonas Brothers?
I was.
You were?
Because, I don't know, since they were very famous in the early 2000s, with Camp Rock, Disney, you know, growing up, but then I kind of lost track. I don't know about the 90s generations.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if they're going to be coming back anytime soon to Indonesia, but if they do, it's time for you to catch up with.
Yes, and especially yesterday, remember, not only they were performing, but Putri.
Yes, she was the opening wasn't
act.
she?
Yes, she was.
I hope she got the stage time that she deserved, rightfully so. Twice have made their much anticipated return, meanwhile, with the music video for One Spark from their new mini album, With Youth.
Twice's new music video for One Spark is largely focused on the group's choreography for the song, which they perform on various lavish sets, from a luxurious dining hall to a stark white soundstage. The clip ends with a K-pop act dancing on a bridge as fireworks go off around them. One Spark is the title track of Twice's newly released 13th mini album, With Youth. The record also features the pre-release single I Got You, which received a Love remix earlier this month. With Youth marks Twice's first music as a group in nearly a year since the release of Ready to Be in March 2023, which was led by title track Set Me Free. Throughout the rest of 2023, the girl group embarked on their massive Ready to Be world tour and will continue its tour in US and Japan from March 16 to July 28.
Okay, and now we have some entertainment news from Indonesia. After the success of lagu Pernikahan Kita, the romantic duo of Arsy Widianto and Tiara Andini are now back with their latest song, Masih Hatiku, which is about a love story full of obstacles.
Aku tepat ada di sampingmu.
Masih Hatiku is the second part of their music series, Arti Semestinya Cinta, and is the prequel of their previous song, lagu Pernikahan Kita. The song Masih Hatiku tells about the doubts and insecurities of a couple before marriage. The song is nicely depicted through the lyrics written by R.C. Widianto with the beautiful melody arranged by his father, Yofi Widianto. Unlike their previous song, Masih Hatiku features more parts for R.C. and Tiara to sing together, making their vocal harmonies sound even more sweet and charming. Masih Hatiku is now available on every digital music platform.
Move on to the next story, but still in the world of music, Sammy Simorangkir has dropped a new single on YouTube.
And he has released last night Selagi Punya Waktu, which also features Ade Govinda. The song serves as a reminder that people often feel sad and lost when they are no longer together.
Sounds like a breakup song, doesn't it? They started when both artists met in 2020, although the pandemic delayed release until this year. Ade has also shared a bit about the track, mentioning that Selagi Punya Waktu was inspired by a statement from Padi Reborn frontman Fadli.
All right, and now we're moving on to another news from the world of music, where Olivia Rodrigo has showcased Logical and Obsessed live for the first time on her 2024 Guts tour last night. And she kicked off her 2024 Guts World Tour in Palm Springs, California last night, entertaining a packed audience at the 11,000 capacity Acrisure Arena alongside her band and dancers.
Divided into 4 acts, the concert reached a highlight during the third segment when Rodrigo took flight on a giant moon amidst a starry night sky backdrop, debuting the live rendition of Logical and delivering an emotional rendition of Enough for You while perched on the prop.
With the inclusion of new live renditions and poignant moments, the Guts Tour not only served as a visual and auditory spectacle, but also showcased Rodrigo's artistic evolution and depth as a performer, promising an unforgettable experience for fans worldwide.
Alrighty then, let's take another break, but when we come back, we'll have more updates from around the world, so stay tuned on the C Morning Show, only on C Today.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
The Indonesian State-Owned Enterprises Ministry has underlined its commitment to supporting small and medium enterprises by launching vending machines at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport.
Qatar has advanced to the quarterfinals of the 2023 AFC Asian Cup after defeating Palestine 2-1 in the round of 16 at the Al Ayed Stadium in Al Khor.
So we'll be back with the daily dose of entertainment. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible, I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulisnya.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Pelawak tuh ramean, 3
ini sendiri.
Komika itu nggak harus dilahirkan ya.
Ini lagu untuk siapa, Min? Oh, yang senang dengan baju kuning. Berarti partai itu ya. Oke deh, nanti kita muterin langsung, kita muterin Lampung sampai pusing. Awal gua ngerosting itu ditemuin sama Bang Panji sebenarnya. Nah, jadi mau tahu gua di roasting Kang Maman gimana? Langsung aja saksikan Teman Bicara Maman.
If you want the best coffee beans in the world, this is where you get them, the city of Sidikalang. Now, most Sumatran coffee beans are grown in the area in and around Lake Toba.
Kebetulan di tempat ini kan berada di ketinggian 1380, jadi aroma dan cita rasa itu khas.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show. We're now headed into the second hour of our program, and back here at the main desk, it's time for us to update you on some world news. As mentioned at the top of our program, scores of people protested on Saturday, calling for the reopening of one of the main hospitals in the Gaza Strip that has been closed since Israeli troops briefly captured it in the early weeks of the Israel-Hamas war.
The protesters outside the Indonesian hospital in Beit Lahia carried banners in Arabic that read, "Stop the war and killing," and allow aid into North Gaza. The protesters included children banging on pots as a sign of lack of food.
Israeli troops stormed the Indonesian hospital in late November, and since they left it, has been closed amid severe needs by the residents who stayed for medical care.
رسالتين، الرسالة الأولى ضد التجويع، ضد القتل، ضد الحصار، ضد الإبادة. الرسالة الثانية لنقول للعالم ها هي مستشفى الأندونيسي التي دمرها الاحتلال من أكثر من 3 شهور، دمرها وهي تعالج أكثر من نصف مليون نسمة. نحن اليوم في شمال غزة نباد بالقصف، نباد بالحصار، نباد بالتجويع، نباد بكل جميع أنواع سياسة الاحتلال اليمين المطرفة. نقول للعالم يا عالم يا ظالم، انظروا لشعبنا، انظروا لشعب الشمال، ماذا عملوا ليستحقوا هذا القتل وهذا الدمار وهذا.
Meanwhile, Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva alleged on Saturday that Israel is committing genocide against Palestinians, doubling down on the harsh rhetoric after stirring up controversy just 1 week ago by comparing Israel's military offensive in Gaza to the Nazi Holocaust, in which 6 million Jews and others perished during World War II.
Israel has pushed back against genocide claims made at the UN's top court and elsewhere, saying its war targets the militant group Hamas, not the Palestinian people. It has held Hamas responsible for civilian deaths, arguing that the group operates from civilian areas.
In response to Lula's initial comments, Israel declared him a persona non grata, summoned Brazil's ambassador, and demanded an apology. Lula recalled Brazil's ambassador to Israel for consultations.
O que está acontecendo em Israel é genocídio. São milhares de crianças mortas, milhares desaparecidas. E não está morrendo soldado, está morrendo mulheres e crianças dentro do hospital. Se isso não é genocídio, eu não sei o que é genocídio. Quero dizer para vocês que vocês sabem que nós aqui no Brasil andamos brigando muito para que a gente tenha uma reforma no Conselho de Segurança da ONU, para que ele possa representar o mundo no século XXI e não representar o mundo de 1945, 46, 47 ou 48. O Conselho de Segurança da ONU hoje não representa nada, não toma decisão para nada e não faz paz em nada.
An Israeli airstrike on a home in the southern city of Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday killed 8 people, including 3 women.
According to witnesses, the strike hit the home where some of those who had been displaced by the conflict were staying.
The bodies of 5 men and 3 women were taken to hospital, where a special prayer was held before the funeral. The steadily rising civilian death toll and a worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza have amplified calls for a ceasefire. Hunger and infectious diseases are spreading, and some 80% of Gaza's 2.3 million people have now been displaced, with approximately 1.4 million crowded into the southern city of Rafah on the border with Egypt.
انفجار قوي ونزلت ذاك لقيت فيه شهداء وفي الدنيا مقلوبة والناس بتطلع في الشهداء وبتلم أشلاء صغار ونسوان وأولاد كتار، كانت الدار مليانة فيها نازحين كمان.
أنا نجري فلقيتنا كله هنا بولع واللي سايح والدور راحت كله راح وبطلنا نفهم شيء، فلقينا جثث مرمية كلها نار حريقة، ما حدش لا عارف يطفي ولا حد قادر يقرب، كلها غبر أول إشي، لأنه إحنا طلعنا أول اللي صار، طلعنا في باب خلف لبيتنا، طلعنا منه وصرنا نطفف الناس ونشيلهم، بس كله لحم على حجر، بكفي يعني يهود يا بسكت يا إحنا نسكت، بكفي خلص واحد يعمل هدنة.
Meanwhile, injured people were arriving at the Al-Aqsa hospital in the central Gaza town of Deir al-Bala on Friday after an Israeli airstrike hit a residential building and killed 25.
Hospital officials says that the death toll included 16 women and children, and at least 50 people were wounded. The bodies of those killed were also brought to the hospital, where they were laid out on the floor outside the morgue.
One of the residents of the building was Mahmoud Zuitar, a Palestinian actor known in Gaza for his social media posts and appearances in TV ads. Throughout the war, Zuitar posted videos on social media with an unusually upbeat tone and spoke to people about enduring the bombing, displacement, as well as Palestinian culture.
The Gaza Health Ministry said that more than 100 Palestinians were killed in Israeli strikes on the Strip over 24 hours. Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh held talks with Egyptian officials on a possible ceasefire in Gaza and an exchange of hostages held by the militants for Palestinians imprisoned in Israel, according to their latest statement.
The Israeli military released footage on Friday of what it claims were strikes against Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon.
The IDF claimed that, quote, fighter jets struck several Hezbollah infrastructure in the area of Labuna, in addition to a military structure in Kafarkala, where Hezbollah were operating.
The IDF also reported that on Thursday, fighter jets struck a Hezbollah military structure in the area of Blida, as well as additional areas in Lebanon.
Elsewhere in the Middle East, thousands of Yemenis in the capital of Sana'a demonstrated on Friday in a show of solidarity with Palestinians in war-stricken Gaza, as well as anger at Israel and the United States.
This particular group has organized protests nearly every Friday since the humanitarian crisis in Gaza began. Demonstrators were seen holding Palestinian flags, placards of the Houthis' official slogan, and pictures of their leader, Abdel Malek al-Houthi.
And as part of their support for Palestinian resistance since November, the Houthi rebels have targeted ships in the Red Sea to demand a ceasefire on Israel's offensive in Gaza.
However, in recent weeks, the United States and the United Kingdom, supported by other allies, have launched airstrikes targeting Houthi missile arsenals and launch sites for its attacks.
We're going to shift our focus to elsewhere in the world now. While many Western nations have already cut economic ties with Russia following its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Hungary continues to buy billions of dollars of Russian oil and gas.
It has also sought to strengthen ties with Beijing, bucking Western efforts to reduce dependence on China.
As Henry Ridgewell reports from Budapest, analysts say Hungary's leader is seeking to exploit global tensions.
The Druzhba, or Friendship, pipeline brings Russian oil to this refinery on the outskirts of Budapest. The European Union banned Russian oil imports following its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, but Hungary demanded an exemption, claiming it cannot diversify supply, and is now Moscow's biggest energy customer in the EU, purchasing $343 million worth in January alone. Russia is also building a new nuclear power plant in Hungary. Kyiv says Russia spends its energy revenue on weapons to kill Ukrainians. But Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban rejects calls to sever economic ties with Moscow.
Brussels'
strategy for Ukraine has failed spectacularly, not only on the battlefield where the situation is catastrophic, but also in international politics. We have said in vain that this war is a brotherly war of two Slavic nations, and not ours.
Orban has criticized EU sanctions on Russia, blocked European aid for Ukraine, and delayed ratifying Sweden's accession to NATO. He has made Hungary the outcast of Europe, says analyst Peter Kreko.
No one has went so far in demolishing democratic institutions, turning against the Western institutional system and cultivating relationships with Russia and China.
China is financing a $3.8 billion high-speed railway from Budapest to the Serbian capital Belgrade, a flagship project of its Belt and Road initiative. Hungary was among the largest global recipients of Chinese investment under the program in 2022.
There are arbitrarily designed and swiftly adopted regulations by Parliament to prevent any insight or oversight in and over the Russian investment into nuclear power plants or the Chinese investment into the railway track which is being developed from Belgrade to Budapest. These are major investments. In the Hungarian context, these are unprecedented investments.
The Hungarian government rejects claims of corruption and says details of the investments were kept secret in order to secure Chinese loans. Hungary's warm relations with Moscow and Beijing are based on a geopolitical assumption, says Kreko.
Where there is a new Cold War type conflict emerges between China and the West, and Orban wants to play this bridge role between the two. And it's also increasingly about a notion that the Western liberal democratic order is about to collapse, and we have to look for new models, being them in Russia, being them in China.
It's a stark reversal from Hungary's emergence from communist rule and accession to the EU. This monument marks the 1956 uprising against Soviet rule, which was brutally crushed by Moscow, and democratic rule would not return to Hungary until 1989. But now there are concerns about the state of democratic rule in the country and about the strength of influence from Russia. Henry Ridgwell, VOA News, Budapest.
Meanwhile, President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed Western leaders to Kyiv on Saturday to mark the second anniversary of Russia's war, as Ukrainian forces run low on ammunition and weaponry, and foreign aid hangs in the balance.
Zelensky met Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni, Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo, and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, as well as the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen.
Zelensky expressed gratitude to foreign leaders for supporting Ukraine and said his country would not be able to keep fighting against Russia if not for support from partner countries. He also added that Ukraine lacks air defense weapons to protect civilian areas and the front line, and long-range weapons to be able to strike back against Russia.
Вистачає, щоб все було, як кажуть, in time. Тоді, коли це дуже потрібно. Перше. Друге, це дуже складно для всіх, безумовно. Це без закидів. Я просто вам відповідаю на ваше запитання. Не вистачає ППО для України, для цивільних людей. І це і для всіх, і для фронту це важливо. Але захистити дітей, школи, університети, лікарні просто дуже складно без
And now we move on to the United States, where the two-person contest for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination comes this weekend to South Carolina, where former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley is hoping for an upset victory in her home state over former President Donald Trump.
VOA's congressional correspondent Catherine Gibson has more from the southern state.
The former governor of South Carolina telling voters she is a better choice than Donald Trump to beat Joe Biden and win the White House in November.
Because we need someone who can serve 8 years uninterrupted, day and night, and focus on what it's going to take to get solutions for the American people.
In this coastal town, voters say they're concerned about controlling the U.S. borders, and Haley is the best choice to do that.
She understands our enemies and our allies, our foreign enemies and allies, and she probably would have the best chance at talking to the president of Mexico, and if he didn't want to negotiate with her, she just would know what to do to keep the immigrants out of our country.
Haley, Trump's ambassador to the United Nations, said Trump is harming the United States on the world stage with his support for Vladimir Putin.
Donald Trump is siding with a thug, where 500,000 people have been wounded or killed because Putin invaded Ukraine. Donald Trump's siding with a dictator who kills his political opponents.
But Haley is trailing Trump in all the polls in her home state. A USA Today poll conducted last week found 63% of South Carolina voters favored the former president over Haley. Trump telling Fox News earlier this week he is already thinking about his choice of vice president.
If something should happen, you have to have somebody that's going to be a great president.
And some South Carolina voters say the former president's previous White House experience makes him a better choice.
Regardless of the politics, people think of him and stuff like that, he was a fine and great businessman, I think. In business, you run a business, people will come back to your business.
Haley is the only remaining alternative for Republican voters who are concerned about Trump's electability.
Everyone thinks he's going to bring this change that he had the opportunity before and didn't really make any of the change, and he's also brought on new baggage.
Haley has said she will continue running until Super Tuesday in March, when a diverse range of 15 U.S. states will vote on their choice for the Republican nominee.
I don't think she'll back down. That would be really unfortunate if she did lose South Carolina, but I really believe she has a better opportunity in the fall to pull this off.
South Carolina voters head to the polls on Saturday. Catherine Gibson, VOA News, Georgetown, South Carolina.
Meanwhile, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has attended a ceremony for a new construction project on the outskirts of Pyongyang.
Now, the project is to build homes for people in the city.
Over the past several years, North Korea has been highlighting efforts to build more apartments and new districts in its capital. Back in the 1980s through the 90s, there were similar big state-coordinated projects for building new districts, new streets, and new apartment blocks. And that does it for World News. It's now 7:15 in the a.m. We will take a short break, but when we return, we have more updates for you, this time out of the region of Southeast Asia, along with some of the latest headlines. Stay tuned.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
Kenapa sih dia selalu mau eksis kalau aku syuting? Ijo sama yang merah ini tuh rumah pribumi, jadi aku taruh di dalam, makanya rasanya lebih welcome gitu. Modern banget. Itu sempit banget kalau ceilingnya pendek. Menurut aku ya, kita belum ngerasa memiliki kalau belum ada sejarahnya.
Flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very
Gua yang penting apa yang gue makan bisa gue buang pada saat gue olahraga gitu.
Jadi Adila kalau ketemu mungkin dia ketawa tuh.
Dengan proses, gue bersyukur banget Kubu Junior tuh sempat bubar tahun 2016-2017.
Feelingnya sabu-sabu, karena sabu-sabu kita cuma makannya setahun sekali.
Kalau kita dengerin Spotify ya, Pak gimana sih caranya aku bisa masuk di sini gitu. Ya nggak boleh menghalangi lah.
Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible, I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget. Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
The China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ertupen County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
Minister January Makamba was a guest in one of our news programs, a 3-hour news show yesterday. While he was in the studio, he used the opportunity to explain the current state of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Indonesia.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
China has been racing against time for rescue and disaster relief work after a landslide on Monday struck a mountainous village in southwest China's Yunnan province.
Pelawak tuh ramean, ini sendiri.
Komika itu nggak harus dilahirkan.
Ini lagu untuk siapa, Min? Oh, yang senang dengan baju kuning. Berarti partai itu ya. Oke deh, nanti kita puterin langsung, kita muterin Lampung sampai pusing. Awal gua ngerosting itu ditemuin sama Bang Panji sebenarnya. Nah, jadi mau tahu gua di roasting Kang Maman gimana? Langsung aja saksikan Teman Bicara Maman.
You're back with us here on the C Morning Show. It is now time for us to update you with some of the latest from across Southeast Asia, beginning with our headlines. Lawmakers across the Philippines have signed a written declaration called Unified Manifesto for National Integrity and Development. This manifesto, signed last Wednesday, is a response to a proposal for Mindanao secession raised by former President Rodrigo Duterte and Davao del Norte Representative Pantaleon Alvarez. Around 53 Mindanaoan lawmakers contributed to the manifesto, in addition to the House Committee on Muslim Affairs, Muhammad Khalid D. Maporo. The manifesto includes a line stating Mindanao elected representatives' firm stance opposing secession, calling it unconstitutional. It also highlights Mindanao's critical role in the national economy, noting President Marcos Jr.'s significant infrastructure development and agriculture empowerment within the region.
The Thai government has approved an estimated budget of 105 million baht or $2.9 million for the upcoming Maha Songkran World Water Festival this April. Last week, Deputy Government Spokesperson Kenika Unjit announced that the celebration will be held in Bangkok and 5 unnamed provinces. In Bangkok, the festival will be centered on Ratchadaman Avenue and Sanam Luang Park from April 11th to 15th. The annual festival, listed as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity last December, aims to promote Thai tradition and culture. The Songkran celebration also involves almsgiving to Buddhist monks and the traditional act of pouring water on the hands of the elderly and images of Buddha. The tourism ministry is expecting to attract 200,000 people and generate a revenue of 3.13 billion baht, or around 87 billion US dollars.
And the news from Singapore, Taylor Swift will hold a 6-day concert in the country next month. The pop star will hold the concert from March the 2nd to 4th and 7th to 9th at the Singaporean National Stadium as part of her Eras Tour worldwide. More than 300,000 tickets have been sold to fans around the globe, with generated revenues estimated to exceed 787 million US dollars. Singapore's tourism board said last week that the concert will generate significant benefits to the economy, mainly in the tourism sector, including hospitality, retail, travel, and dining. Demands for flights and accommodations have jumped by 30% around the concert dates, mainly booked by fans who are traveling from other countries, particularly from Southeast Asia.
Which in turn raises the question from me, are you guys Swifties, by the way?
You know this answer, actually, Paul.
I do.
Yeah.
Would you, and the next question would be, would you guys actually be willing to travel to Singapore for the concert? I mean, there's 6 different days. Tickets are plenty available, I believe.
And we can see from the number of Indonesians traveling there, most Indonesians are actually going there because so many Swifties, including me, with our friendship bracelets.
That's right. And there's exclusivity, right, for this region anyway, that somehow working together with the Singapore Tourism Board, the government has actually paid the booking promoter and agent for exclusivity for Taylor Swift in the region. So many people are thinking, hey, I've got to travel there to a concert. Not a bad place to go for a concert. Many places to visit as well. Anyway. I wish I had the time to go, but unfortunately, I don't think I'll be making the trip on this one. Hopefully, she'll come here sometime in the near future, though.
Hopefully, we'll
and
see.
with Travis Kelce, were you football fans?
Yeah, if you're a Chiefs fan, you might get a glimpse of him as well. Anyway, we're going to keep it in Singapore for our next update, as Singaporean police on February the 21st issued an arrest warrant for Thomas Ziliakos, the former CEO of Yuzu, for his suspected involvement in the company's misleading financial reporting case.
Former Yuzu CEO James Somasundram allegedly misled the Singapore Exchange Board in 2016 by falsifying the company's financial statements and dividend announcements.
According to the Singapore Police Force, the company purposefully overestimated its revenue by 8 million to 17.1 million US dollars during the first quarter of 2016. Yuzu was also allegedly aware of these false and misleading figures, which were intended to attract others to purchase Yuzu shares.
As of February 2024, current Yuzu CEO Thomas Ziliakos, along with 3 individuals linked to the case, have refused to return to Singapore to be investigated. In response, the SPF has requested an Interpol Red Notice to help locate and arrest all 4 suspects. If proven guilty, the former CEO and other suspects could face imprisonment for up to 7 years or a fine of up to 250,000 Singaporean dollars, equivalent to 186,000 US dollars. Meanwhile, the Thai Navy and its U.S. counterpart have launched a 19-day joint mission to salvage HTMS Sukhothai and recover the remains of 5 missing sailors.
The ship sank under bad weather in December 2022.
The navies of Thailand and the U.S. have launched a joint salvage operation of the sunken ship HTMS Sukhothai. 40 Thai divers and 17 Americans are also taking part in the operation. And the U.S. Navy ship Ocean Valor, deployed from Hawaii, is integrated into the Thai fleet. The Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Thai Navy, Admiral Adung Paniam, has told reporters that the first 5 days of the mission will be focused on searching for the missing crew.
ภารกิจครั้งนี้วันนี้นับไปอีก5 วันจะถ่ายรูปเรือตลอดลำและค้นหาผู้เสียชีวิตนะครับ5 วันแรกเพื่อมาประกอบสำนวนที่เคยสัมภาษณ์กันไว้นะครับว่าตอนที่เรือเป็นอย่างงู้นอย่างนี้เกิดจากอะไรวันที่6ถึงวันที่19จะเป็นการทำลายอาวุธที่เป็นอันตรายทั้งของสหรัฐและของไทย
He added that within the remaining 14 days, personnel will salvage and destroy lethal weapons that remain on the sunken ship.
จะทำทุกอย่างอะไรขึ้นได้ขึ้นหมดเพราะขีดความสามารถของสหรัฐมีอุปกรณ์ตัดเหล็กด้วยมีอุปกรณ์ทุกอย่างและเครนมหาศาลที่ยกของขึ้นได้นะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเราจะใช้ดุลพินิจอะไรที่จะเป็นสิ่งที่เอาเป็นประโยชน์ขึ้นมาจะนำขึ้นมา
HTMS Sukhothai sank in rough waters on December the 18th, 2022, after 35 years of service.
All right, let's take a break, but when we return, we'll have our first talk show about turning campaign waste into valuable products. Stay tuned.
The Indonesian State-Owned Enterprises Ministry has underlined its commitment to supporting small and medium enterprises by launching vending machines at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport.
Qatar has advanced to the quarterfinals of the 2023 AFC Asian Cup after defeating Palestine 2-1 in the round of 16 at the Al Ayed Stadium in Al Khor.
So we'll be back with the daily dose of entertainment.
See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Kak Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depotsi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
The China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Ertupen County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
Minister January Makamba was a guest in one of our news programs, a 3-hour news show yesterday. While he was in the studio, he used the opportunity to explain the current state of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Indonesia.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
China has been racing against time for rescue and disaster relief work after a landslide on Monday struck a mountainous village in southwest China's Yunnan province.
Pelawak tuh ramean, tiga, ini sendiri.
Komika itu nggak harus dilahirkan ya.
Ini lagu untuk siapa, Min? Oh, yang senang dengan baju kuning, berarti partai itu ya. Oke deh, nanti kita puterin langsung, kita muterin Lampung sampai pusing. Awal gua ngerosting itu ditemuin sama Bang Panji sebenarnya. Nah, jadi mau tahu gua di roasting Kang Maman gimana? Langsung aja saksikan teman bicara Maman.
Gue yang penting apa yang gue makan bisa gue buang pada saat gue olahraga segitu.
Jadi ambil kalau ketemu mungkin dia ketawa.
Dengan proses, gue bersyukur banget Kubu Junior tuh sempat bubar tahun 2016-2017.
Feelingnya sabu-sabu, karena sabu-sabu kita cuma makannya setahun sekali.
Kalau kita dengerin Spotify ya, Pak gimana sih caranya aku bisa masuk di sini gitu. Ya nggak boleh menghalangi lah.
bukit sampai elevasi gue hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kind of want to die.
And welcome back to the C Morning Show. It's time for our first talk show segment of the morning. Now, officials in Bogor have come up with a plan to deal with the extra waste from campaign materials they have taken down before the election.
And this includes recycling them into materials for infiltration wells and also paving blocks.
The end of the campaign period for the Indonesian general elections have resulted in mounting trash problem for some areas. Officials in Bogor, West Java have created a solution to the extra waste from campaign materials they have taken down. The banners, posters, and others are now being recycled into paving blocks and materials to create infiltration wells at the Mekarwangi landfill in tandem with the Peduli Ciliwung community. After the materials were sorted, they were shredded into tiny pieces, then mixed with plastic waste to be processed. The products have been sold around Bekasi area.
Nah, setelah kita uji coba beberapa kali dan bisa ternyata, hanya saja persentasenya kecil itu, mungkin sekitar 25-30% dari setiap produk itu. Jadi yang paling besar adalah tetap sampah low value yang berupa plastik maupun aluminium itu. Nah, karena kita tahu APK ini kan bahannya PVC dan ada tinta dan sebagainya. Nah, itu kita memikirkan juga dari aspek keamanan, gas buang, dioksin dan sebagainya ya. Dan sampai saat ini kita baru punya satu buyer untuk membuat sumur resapan. Jadi untuk konstruksi sumur resapan yang memang ini ketika di dalam tanah dia lebih tahan, lebih kuat daripada kayu ataupun juga beton.
Officials say the process is an eco-friendly alternative to incineration, and they also benefit the people as the products are also used in improvements of public facilities. See Today contributor reporting from Bogor, West Java.
And not only in Bogor to solve the issue, because a community from Jakarta also has a similar mission of turning campaign material waste into valuable products.
And what are the products they have created and how did they create them? To find out the answers, joining us here today in the studio is Stufo Good R&D founder, Mas MG Ringo Tono. Good morning, Mas MG. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us, Mas MG. You have with us here today just to answer a few questions from the question at the beginning of our talk show. There's bags, and what are these?
This is roaster.
Roasters for indoors, and there's also the chair and a carpet.
And this is the modular flooring,
Okay.
like a deck tile. So this is good for the garden.
Good for the garden. Okay. So are these only the products that you made, or are there any other products?
There's others like merchandise and also the brick. We also make the brick, so it's good also for the interior.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So, can you share with us exactly what Stufo Good R&D is? What's the main focus of the organization?
Actually, we are a collective who focus on circular material. So we are really into using waste material such as plastic, HDPE, and also banners. Actually, Stufo already start doing upcycling of banners since 2017 to make this bag. But we also know that making a bag, there is many leftover after cut.
Yes.
So we explore more what we can do with that. So this is the result. Like we found it that we can shred it and then press it into this kind of roaster or brick.
Okay, so these are the colorful pieces are from the shredded pieces of banners.
Banners.
Okay.
Actually, this is 100% banners.
100% banners.
100% banners. I just add adhesive and then press it.
Okay, and these are the bags. And this is also from the banners?
Yes.
from the white base itself?
Yes.
And the colors?
And the colors, and we mix, combine.
So do you want to take a look at this one?
Yeah, let's take a look. It's actually quite sturdy on the inside, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, and
some pockets too.
and there's different designs as well.
Yes, many type of design.
But Stufo started in 2017.
Yes.
And this is using banners.
Yes.
Did you have the idea driving down the street, seeing the banners, up there, and then you're going to find, and then you think to yourself, oh, there's going to be a time when they have to take it down? Or is it because someone came up to you, here we have a tons of banner, please upcycle with it, do your creativity?
Because actually, I do get involved in many exhibitions as exhibition designer, so I produce many banners for that event. So I feel a little bit guilty about it, because after that, so many banners in our storage.
Yeah.
It's a very good material, so I think we have to use it again, and so this idea to making a bag is come out.
Okay. And obviously we have these products, the bags, the bricks, and of course the stool here. So how many products have you created so far, apart from these? Or can you tell us about the process of creating these products using the campaign waste?
Yeah, actually the last one that we made, this is our innovation, we call it Multiflex.
Multiflex.
Because it's a board that made from banners. It consists of a 45 layer of banners.
Okay, so
this one.
If you can see right here, these are the banners?
Yes.
Okay, and then how can you make it so sturdy?
So it's we press it. So there is a two technique with the hot press and also cold press.
Okay.
So we also put the adhesive, and then it's quite safe rather than we put it into like a extruder machine like many others recycling facility do with the extruder machine. Okay. This is quite safe. So after this, we also can make that chairs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's consists of like 90 layer.
Oh, so this entire board, the entire kind of surface
banner.
of the chair is all made from banners from here all the way to down here, isn't it?
Yes.
I see.
And make comfortable as well.
Yeah,
We're sitting down.
I can imagine. What other things are you planning on making with that plank?
We also can, for example, this one, this decking tile.
Right.
So this is also that we can use, basically like a plywood. That's a basic material, so we can do many things with that material.
Okay, so we can use our creativity. But all of these products, this is your creativity. Of course, we can say it's a piece of art, it's a work of art, but of course, it's upcycling, it's circular economy. How do you market this? Is there a market that buys it on a regular basis? Do you already have somewhere you sell it as well?
Yeah, it's still our challenge actually in many upcycling product and recycling product in Indonesia. But it's going better, I think, this day rather than when I started. But I think we still need the support from public to also using this kind of material, because if everybody using this material, so it means the material is circular.
Right.
Okay.
And of course, when we talk about helping your community and also support, it also means getting the banners and also the recycle or the used plastic, the used items. Do you find it on your own, or is there like a local community that helps you gather these used items?
Yeah, when after the campaigns, me and many friends from Stufo and Butarin and also other friends help us to join to go to the street to take it down, all the banners. And also we also have contact from the district office to send the banners that they already collect, because they also confused what to do with that. So many in their
area.
Right.
Area.
Yeah. Now, I can imagine that because this year is a is an election year, it must be quite easy for you to find the materials to make these types of products. But let's say, for example, when it's not during the campaign period, is it more difficult to find the materials, to gather materials, or is there such a massive supply that it doesn't become a problem?
Actually not, because I started, it's not in election season, right?
2017.
Yes, and it's so many events in Jakarta itself. So every event produce this banner. And also, we also collaborate with many print shop that we can take the leftover or failed print from them, so we can take it. Because there's also massive production from every print shop in Jakarta.
Okay. And these products are fashionable as well. I mean, you keep up with the trends. Do you market it not only in Indonesia, or do you have any orders from abroad?
Yes, basically our bag, it's, I can say it's more 60% buyers from outside.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
From where?
Yeah, many countries who come into our place at good school. Yeah, so they come and then see our product, and mostly they're very easily to like it and buy it.
Okay.
Right. So you're kind of hoping to expand into, of course, you've already expanded. You have 60% of your products being sold to internationally. What about in Indonesia? Do you have plans to expand your operations, not only limiting yourself to Jakarta, but also to other cities as well?
Yes, we do many workshops, go to many cities, because we think these practices should be in every city. So we are very welcome to collaborate with many collective in other cities to also to produce like what we did, but of course with their context. Yeah, that's what we are really wanted actually.
How many cities have you visited and created a workshop or sharing session so far?
Yeah, we already go to Lombok, Aceh, Pontianak.
And they continuously make these products as well?
Yeah, we still contact and then we encourage them to make a product by their own context, because it should be like that. Yeah.
Are they already aware about the possibility of making products from the banners and from the leftovers, or you really had to educate from the very beginning?
Basically, what we found is they already understand that's something that they have to do, but they don't know what to do.
Right.
So we came for that part, actually.
Yeah, because if you notice, if you go to some villages, desa around Indonesia, they have those campaign banners that are left over. Sometimes people use it to, to patch their roofs and things like that. So the concept is already there, isn't it? You need to kind of learn how to develop it further and to try to create a product out of it like you do.
Elevating what can be done with the items here.
Exactly, yeah. So perhaps, what is the future of Stufo? How do you see Stufo, first of all, contributing to the circular economy, and perhaps how Stufo will grow in the future as well?
Yeah, now we already have a laboratory, the lab for makers. So because we are collaborate with artists, the product designer, architect, with our program, Open Lab program, and now we are more focused into production. So we're trying to make the factory of this. So yeah, hopefully it's going well, and then and also the product can be used.
Yes.
Right.
Because who doesn't want to use this, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious now, actually. What is your? Can you give us a leak into what your next innovative product might be?
I think what I found with friends in Booth R&D and Stufo, when we are doing this, we pop up a new idea actually. So I think we really want to make a new with new product,
right?
With a new facility. So
I see.
We need this.
Right.
New products, new facility, and of course the support from everyone,
Yes.
especially to be aware, and of course by wearing and using recycled or upcycled products.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Mas MG Pringgotono, thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much.
coming to the studio, talking about your organization, talking about your products, and we're really happy to see how an organization such as yours can develop to the circular economy, or can contribute to the circular economy, I should say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mas MG.
All right, guys, we're up for another short break. In the meantime, don't forget to follow our social media accounts if you haven't already. We're on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our handle, of course, is at C Today News. Stay tuned.
And we have more business updates right here from our nation, where the Association of Indonesian Automotive Manufacturers, or GAIKINDO, reported that over 1 million vehicles were sold in Indonesia last year.
The Indonesian government has announced plans to allocate around 4.8 billion rupiah for this year's pre-employment program.
Now, the program aims to help boost economic recovery, especially for those affected by COVID-related layoffs.
The Indonesian government is once again providing food aid in the form of rice reserves to support the public amid higher prices of the commodity in the market.
Stok bulog sekarang ini alhamdulillah masih pada posisi yang baik. Masih 1,4 juta ton.
Kind of 10 days, the priority has been getting to California and making the miles and saving our money as best we can.
But we're going to ride 80 miles tomorrow. We've just ridden 70 and we're all starving.
Took the first couple of corners and felt pretty comfortable, so I thought I might get it.
So that was just too much rear brake, stalled the engine.
The end of the first day of competition.
The winner of the challenge today was Brody.
Revealed today by generations unborn when they weave their spell. The Cup of Dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage.
Gua yang penting apa yang gua makan bisa gua buang pada saat gua olahraga, gitu.
Jadi ambillah kalau ketemu mungkin dia ketawa.
Dengan proses, gue bersyukur banget Kubu Junior tuh sempat bubar tahun 2016-2017.
Feelingnya sabu-sabu, karena sabu-sabu kita cuma makannya setahun sekali.
Kalau kita dengerin Spotify ya, Pak gimana sih caranya aku bisa masuk di sini gitu. Ya nggak boleh menghalangi lah.
Satu bukit sampai elevasi gua hari itu nyentuh 4.000-an lah.
I kinda wanna die.
If you want the best coffee beans in the world, this is where you get them. The city of Sidikalang. Now, most Sumatran coffee beans are grown in the area in and around Lake Toba.
Kebetulan di tempat ini kan berada di ketinggian 1380, jadi aroma dan cita rasa itu khas.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
The Indonesian State-Owned Enterprises Ministry has underlined its commitment to supporting small and medium enterprises by launching vending machines at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport.
Qatar has advanced to the quarterfinals of the 2023 AFC Asian Cup after defeating Palestine 2-1 in the round of 16 at the Al Ayed Stadium in Al Khor.
So we'll be back with the daily dose of entertainment.
See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Asalnya itu dari Bangka. Jadi kalau lapis legit itu kalau nggak pakai Wisman kayaknya kurang sip.
Kalau zaman saya dulu masih kecil, lapis legit itu barang mahal.
Rezekinya itu berlapis-lapis.
Agar supaya tradisi dan budaya Tionghoa itu tetap lestari.
Pelawak tuh ramean,
Ngomongan
tiga. Ini sendiri.
Komika itu nggak harus dilahirkan ya.
Ini lagu untuk siapa, Min? Oh, yang senang dengan baju kuning. Berarti partai itu ya. Oke deh, nanti kita muterin langsung, kita muterin Lampung sampai pusing. Awal gua ngerosting itu ditemuin sama Bang Panji sebenarnya. Nah, jadi mau tahu gua di roasting Kang Maman gimana? Langsung aja saksikan teman bicara Maman.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia.
Kenapa sih dia selalu mau eksis kalau aku syuting? Ijo sama yang merah ini tuh rumah pribumi, jadi aku taruh di dalam, makanya rasanya lebih welcome gitu. Modern banget. Sempit banget kalau ceilingnya pendek. Menurut aku ya, kita belum ngerasa memiliki kalau belum ada sejarahnya.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, lebih panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar, dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
The Indonesian State-Owned Enterprises Ministry has underlined its commitment to supporting small and medium enterprises by launching vending machines at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport.
Qatar has advanced to the quarterfinals of the 2023 AFC Asian Cup after defeating Palestine 2-1 in the round of 16 at the Al Ayed Stadium in Al Khor.
So we'll be back with the Daily Dose of Entertainment. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
And welcome back to the C Morning Show. It's time for our feature segment because this is the morning. And for some of us in the morning, enjoying a cup of coffee, a cup of joke can help boost our mood and get us through the rest of the day. Now, there are many ways to enjoy coffee, but if you ever find yourself in Pangkal Pinang and Bangka Belitung, then you may want to try a particular kind of joe. Now, to do that, simply visit a cafe which offers coffee mixed with key lime. Take a look.
Coffee is getting more popular by the day, and now it is available in many modern iterations. In light of the many modern twists of coffee, a cafe in Pangkal Pinang, Bangka Belitung has found a new way of processing joe. They achieve this by mixing it with key lime, which is native to the area. The blend includes coffee, key lime, sugar, and ice cubes. It is then stirred thoroughly before serving. The bitter taste of coffee harmonizes with the sour hints of key lime and sugar, which creates a unique taste that appeals to coffee lovers. All the ingredients blend together to make a beverage which is fresh and can stave off sleepiness while also improving daily mood.
Rasanya tuh segar, terus juga ada asam-asamnya gitu. Cuaca panas ya, justru cocok banget sih, karena bisa bikin mata langsung melek. Terus juga ini kan dingin, jadi cocok banget kalau misalnya kalian yang lagi di Bangka, terus lagi cuacanya panas-panas gini tuh udah cocok banget.
The brewer dubs the drink COVID, since it was created amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
Orang Bangka itu kan sukanya asam, makanya kita menominasikan tuh kopi kebelet kunci. Terus di sek tuh supaya menghasilkan rasa jeruk kunci itu lebih strong ke kopinya. Makanya kita mengadakan kopi itu pakai jeruk kunci.
Coffee lovers who visit Pangkal Pinang would be well advised to try this refreshing blend. See today can reporting from Pangkal Pinang, Bangka Belitung Islands.
Now, it's common for coffee enthusiasts to enjoy the beverage with granulated or palm sugar. However, a combination of coffee and honey will definitely offer a new and different sensation, especially if it was made from pure natural honey collected from a forest. Now, to find out the process behind it, let's have a look at the following story.
If there is a coffee, there is a sugar. This phrase was often heard among coffee enthusiasts to describe the two flavored powders that are able to produce a delicious cup of coffee. However, have you tried a cup of coffee with honey? Well, this beverage is known as kopi madu musong in Indonesian, and it has a similar appearance as regular coffees. The preparation is considered simple. To make your own coffee with honey, you need to grind coffee beans using a machine, such as grinder or processor, before brewing them. Now pour honey in a separate container or cup, then pour the brewed coffee in the same cup according to your taste. And finally, your cup of coffee with honey is ready to be served. Apart from its delicious flavor, coffee with honey provides many benefits such as high calories and is considered more natural and healthier than coffee with sugar. In addition to that, honey is known for its antibacterial activity and contains vitamins, mineral, and high antioxidants.
Rasanya sih manisnya pas, rasa madunya juga berasa dan tidak terlalu legit. Hampir sering sih setiap minggu tuh pasti ada 2 kali atau sekali lah kesini, tapi kebanyakan 2 kali seminggu, 2 kali 3 kali lah kesini. Selama juga berkunjung ke Musong Kopitiam ini, memang fasilitasnya oke, pelayanannya juga ramah. Soal harga itu terjangkau sekali, itu cocok untuk kantong pelajar juga.
To maintain the quality and authenticity of the coffee, the team must pass through a forest and river in Bangka Island to search for honeycombs and collect honey the traditional way.
Pertama, kita pakai madunya madu asli, madu musong. Madunya kita ambil sendiri di hutan. Terus ada beberapa manfaat juga untuk kopi campur madu ini, khususnya campur madu musong. Pertama, kalori yang tinggi, terus lebih bagus dari gula biasa.
Furthermore, customers only need to pay 30,000 rupiah to enjoy a coffee with honey at a coffee stall in Balai Street area, Pangkal Pinang City, Bangka Belitung. CZD contributor reporting from Pangkal Pinang, Bangka Belitung.
Can you tell what our theme for this thematic segment is yet? For coffee enthusiasts, there is a unique legendary coffee in Blora Regency in central Java. The coffee, called coconut milk coffee, has a savory taste compared to other coffees in general. So, would you be interested in trying?
A coffee shop in Jepang Rejo village, Blora, Central Java, is famous for its coffee in the region. The coffee shop intrigues visitors as it sells coconut milk coffee. Just like its name, the coffee is made from coffee and coconut milk, where the two ingredients are boiled. This coffee shop was established in the 1980s and it is currently managed by the third generation of Granny Sakija, who is the founder of this legendary coffee.
Kopi santan ini berdiri sejak tahun 80-an. Penemunya Mbak Sakija. Awal mulanya kopi santan berdiri ini beliau nggak sengaja dari santan sisa sayuran kemudian dicampur dengan kopi, terus disajikanlah ke suami, enak, terus dicoba sajikan ke tetangga, ternyata enak. Untuk rasa kopi santan ini lebih gurih, beda dari kopi-kopi yang lain ya, karena ini mempunyai khas dari aromanya, wanginya, gurih kelapanya juga ada.
The distinctive taste of bitterness mixed with the savory of coconut milk is popular among coffee enthusiasts in Blora. You don't need to worry about the price because 1 glass of coconut milk coffee is only sold for 6,000 rupiahs.
Kopi santan
kopinya beda dengan kopi-kopi yang lain. Rasanya ada manisnya, ada pahitnya, ada pokoknya campur jadi satu sehingga namanya kopi santan yang luar biasa.
If you are curious about the sensation of the coconut milk coffee, come to Jepang Rejo Village, Blora Regency, Central Java. See Today News contributor reporting from Blora, Central Java.
Now, coffee is a big staple in Indonesia, and the province of Lampung is well known as one of the top regions in the country for coffee production. Now, apart from the renowned Robusta coffee, the province on the southern tip of Sumatra is also a top producer of kopi luwak, or civet coffee. Now, the kopi luwak from West Lampung Regency has even made it to the foreign market.
Back in 2006, a local from West Lampung Regency named Gunawan started his own kopi luwak production. With a brand called Raja Luwak or Civet King, Gunawan's business began at home with 12 civets. They were of the moon civet and root civet species. Kopi luwak is made from partially eaten coffee cherries which were digested and defecated by a civet. The coffee are then washed and collected. Although a little hard to imagine, kopi luwak has become one of the most sought after as well as the most expensive types of coffee for aficionados worldwide. Gunawan learned all about kopi luwak from his father. He said that the unique process of getting this type of coffee made the taste even more special. Civets are known to consume only the best tasting coffee cherries. The Raja Luwak brand has a number of civet coffee variants. The latest one is Kopi Luwak Pinang or Palm Civet Coffee, which is believed to have some health benefits. Gunawan is selling the brand of Kopi Luwak from his home in West Lampung Regency. But from selling his coffee products online, he managed to sell his coffee to overseas buyers in Japan, China, and Singapore.
Cerita bahwa kopi yang paling enak itu adalah kopi yang dimakan oleh luwak. Dan terngiang cerita itu adalah mafhum dari almarhum orang tua saya sendiri, dan almarhum orang tua kita, ibu kita menyampaikan waktu kita masih usia remaja lah kan, karena dia orang tua kita punya kebun kopi, kata beliau yang sering guyon, yang paling enak itu adalah kopi luwak, kopi yang dimakan oleh luwak. Kita tanyakan kenapa kok bisa begitu enaknya, kok bisa gitu enak. Karena kopi itu dipilih oleh luwak menggunakan insting, dimakan satu persatu, gitu kan? Makanya kalau dia bukan kopi luwak, kalau bisa kopi luwak adalah kopi yang merah-merah yang dimakan oleh luwak tersebut. Rasanya juga ya alhamdulillah, gitu kan. Setelah kita mau tertarik dengan khususnya bisnis kopi luwak, kita ingat yang namanya cerita orang tua itu. Kita coba, ya alhamdulillah membuahkan hasil kan, sampai dengan adanya sekarang ini.
Apart from ground coffee, Gunawan also provides roasted coffee beans which are bought by local coffee shops. The price of Raja Luwak coffee is around 400,000 to 500,000 rupiahs. See Today contributor reporting from West Lampung, Lampung.
All right, guys, that's the end of our segment. We're for another short break. In the meantime, don't go anywhere because Paul Palelli is going to be coming back with Matter Most. So stay tuned on the C Morning Show, only on See Today. Talk soon.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, lebih panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
The Indonesian State-Owned Enterprises Ministry has underlined its commitment to supporting small and medium enterprises by launching vending machines at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport.
Qatar has advanced to the quarterfinals of the 2023 AFC Asian Cup after defeating Palestine 2-1 in the round of 16 at the Al Ayed Stadium in Al Khor.
So we'll be back with the Daily Dose of Entertainment. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Asalnya itu dari Bangka. Jadi kalau lapis legit itu kalau nggak pakai Wisman kayaknya kurang sip.
Kalau zaman saya dulu masih kecil, lapis legit itu barang mahal.
Rezekinya itu berlapis-lapis.
Agar supaya tradisi dan budaya Tionghoa itu tetap lestari.
Pelawak tuh ramean,
ngomongin
ini sendiri.
Komika itu nggak harus dilahirkan ya.
Ini lagu untuk siapa, Min? Oh, yang senang dengan baju kuning, berarti partai itu ya. Oke deh, nanti kita puterin langsung, kita muterin Lampung sampai pusing. Awal gua ngerosting itu ditemuin sama Bang Panji sebenarnya. Nah, jadi mau tahu gua di roasting Kang Maman gimana? Langsung aja saksikan teman bicara Maman.
If you want the best coffee beans in the world, this is where you get them, the city of Sidikalang. Now, most Sumatran coffee beans are grown in the area in and around Lake Toba.
Kebetulan di tempat ini kan berada di ketinggian 1380, jadi aroma dan cita rasa itu khas.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Tuang gelas ketiga, malam di teras rumah. Sembari bertanya di kaca, apa kabarmu kawan? Masih betah gak mau pulang? Gak mau pulang. Tenggak gelas keempat, habis ditelan, gumam-gumam pulang. Rodaku berputar-putar mengikuti angin, dia bawaku kembali ke jalan yang belum pasti. Kembali ke kita, memang. Kembali ke kita, memang. Kembali ke kita, memang. Ku ingin pulang. Merantau 1000 pulau, cari apa yang kurang. Masa lalu yang kelam, kau harap bisa hilang. Agama tarikatmu jaga sampai ajal menjemput. Ini bagaikan bunga dan lebah juga perjalanan tanpa halat ujung. Apalah artinya rumah kalau cuma ada aku di situ. Bro, padanya ku berlaut, padanya ku berlabuh. Berdoa pencarian ini berujung kita berdua bertaut. Pulang. Rodaku berputar-putar mengikuti angin, dia bawaku kembali ke jalan yang belum pasti. Kembali ke kita, memang. Kembali ke kita, memang. Kembali ke kita, memang. Ku ingin pulang, berbekal doa dari mereka yang mengamini. Semoga kau dapatkan apa yang kau cari, namun kembali ke kita, memang. Kembali ke kita, memang. Kembali ke kita, memang. Ku ingin untuk pasanganku yang membuatku bercermin. Dengan sumpah kita bersatu, hadapi panas dan dingin. Amin. Ku angkat gelas bersulang untuk mereka para penulis pilu yang habis-habisan semalam suntuk menulis tentangmu. Curahan, keluhan, tangisanmu yang dominan ada di kepalamu. Coba tunjukkan beringas dari aku, biar akhirnya mereka juga tahu pengalaman dalam dirimu yang penuh renungan. Peramal curi waktu, temukan jawab pertanyaanku. Terangi jalan, semoga kau bawaku pulang. Rodaku berputar-putar mengikuti angin, dia bawaku kembali ke jalan yang belum pasti. Kembali ke kita memang. Yo. Mereka tuduhku pembangkang, memang aku bukan penurut. Mereka tuduhku penjilat, juga tuduhku pengecut. Pandangan yang kadang buatku terpojok dan tersulut. Ya, lupa aku manusia dengan hati pasang surut. Ya, wah, memang ku begini. Nasib sang perintis, situasi yang kritis. Still, I'm standing on business. Ini bukan lagu, ya bisa jadi puisi. Perfeksionis akut, memang aku begini. Rodaku berputar-putar mengikuti angin. Dia bawaku kembali ke jalan yang belum pasti. Kembali ke kita memang. Memang kembali ke kita memang. Ku ingin pulang berbekal doa dari mereka yang mengamini. Semoga kau dapatkan apa yang kau cari. Namun kembali ke kita memang. Kembali ke kita memang. Kembali ke kita memang. Ku ingin pulang.
Woo! Wow, Mattermost here on the C Morning Show. Come on over, man. Finally, glad to make your acquaintance. Please have a seat. That was your brand new single, Mattermost. Pulang, apa yang kau cari, which roughly translates to home. What are you looking for?
Yep.
So, first of all, welcome to the program. It's
Thank
great
you
to
for
finally
having
meet
me.
you. I've been a fan of your work since around 2018, 2019.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
I know that you've worked with a friend of the program as well, Deepa Barus, on a previous single. You've worked with many people, in fact, many collaborations. So let's first start off by talking about this particular single, Pulang. First of all, I love the delivery. I love you're just a pure lyricist. There's a line that says, this isn't a song, this can also be a poem, which the way I saw you deliver it was a bit of both. Tell us a little bit about the track.
The track, yeah. Where do I start?
Well, first of all, what was the meaning behind it? Because there's a lot of things that you spoke about. There was a little bit of criticism on the way our social behavior. There were a lot of things that you covered in that track. So what was the inspiration behind Pulang?
Yeah, I genuinely felt like, so I think the initial story is I went to Bali for like 6 months.
Okay.
Stayed in Ubud, and then when I go there, my brother was like, you don't really like the fact that I'm gonna go to Bali, so he said like, shook my hand real tight and said, I hope you got what you're looking for. Semoga kau dapat apa yang kau cari. So went there, went to Ubud, you know, do my thing in Ubud, like, you know, just live, and this is what I got. This is what I'm looking for. Really.
Self-discovery kind of a trip. Yeah. Did you find what you were looking for? What was it that you were looking for?
I would like to say if we go spiritually, I think God.
Okay.
I think God is like home to me. But I would love to like leave the room for interpretation for like other people, you know? Okay?
Right.
So that they can like, you know, interpret it themselves.
So home isn't really defined like a building where you go to every night and you go to sleep at night. Home is where you are.
Yeah, home, I said in my lyrics, like, what is the meaning of home if there's only me there? Like, I think friends, families, loved ones, even like your favorite software, I think that's home to me.
It's a feeling that you get, right?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. So I said I've followed your work for some time now, and you've actually worked on a lot of collaborations. You've worked with artists such as Ramen Girl, Deepa Barus. In fact, you worked with Deepa on this particular track.
Yes.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. You've collected a couple of Emmys as well along the way. There was a bit of a hiatus, obviously COVID-related as well. Many artists did take a short break, which was probably part of your self-discovery. What made you decide to work on this particular solo project? What made you feel like you were ready for this?
Well, to be honest, I've never stopped working. Well, there was a period of time where I experienced creative block.
Okay.
Which is weird for me because I never had that experience ever.
Right.
But then after I get back on my, jam, I created a lot of songs, and I met Robin, I met Deepa, and then I showed him my tracks, and yeah, I think this is the one that we need to work on.
Okay.
Like Deepa and Robin really felt strongly about this, and I agree, to be honest. Like this is one of the best decisions I've ever made. Like, so far in my career, yeah.
Very different from, I mean, first track I was exposed to you was Wusa with Deepa Barus.
Yeah.
That was a club banger. I remember when I first played it was in a club, a hip-hop club at that.
Fire.
This project sounds musically different as well, but apart from it being different just musically, how does this particular project differ from the previous ones that you've done before?
Well,
for you?
Me personally, I really like to, be versatile. I don't believe in genre. I'm a genre agnostic. I'd rather believe in God. You know what I mean?
good.
Like, so yeah. So this particular one, I kind of gravitate towards the song because I listened to the actual song from Jason Ranti. He's a musician from Indonesia, and after I listened to the song, I really felt the urge to sample the song. And then I sampled the song, put my touches on it, asked Deepa to put his touches on it, and then asked the guy to ask Ranti for his permission. So I think
which he gave with his blessing happily.
Which I'm really happy about, to be honest. And I think what's different is the fact that I'm doing Indo, full Indonesian.
Right.
And the lyrics, I never wrote this type of lyrics ever. I think this is very personal for me, and at the same time it's very gentle as well. I hope people can relate to the song.
Many Indonesian artists, especially rappers, tell me that it's actually more, and I agree, it's more challenging to write in Bahasa.
Yeah.
In fact, they find it easier because perhaps rap was birthed, hip-hop was birthed in the English language.
Exactly.
How do you find it for you? I mean, you delivered it very well, I should say, and I find it very poetic as well, those that can deliver Bahasa Indonesia quite well. How did you find it for you?
Well, initially, I back in 2017, I met the OGs of rappers in Indo, and he said speak in your mother's tongue, and I never really done that. But then after I tried it, I know it's really hard, but when you can make that one-liner that you really love, it felt so good.
Call it the punchline, right?
Yeah, it felt so good. But still, I'm not alone in this. I have a co-writer, which is my best friend. He's not a songwriter,
but
he's my spiritual.
How does that work?
Yeah, he lives in. His name is Resha. He lives in New Zealand right now. So every day I woke up early, do a FaceTime with him, and just go through line by line, because he's not a songwriter per se, but he's like, Phil, do you really want to say this? Are you sure about this? He's that type of guy.
So it gives you a different perspective.
Exactly. And he knows me very well. So yeah, I think that's part of the reason why this song is, like this.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot about spirituality, especially in regards to this song, and this was part of the journey for you to discover yourself as well. So this song itself has a lot of spiritual and, in fact, some philosophical significance. Can you elaborate more as to what is the message that you want people to receive when they listen to your track?
Ooh, it's a tough one, because I genuinely wanted to leave room for interpretations, but from what I see from the feedback,
how has people responded so far?
They gave a footage of their house, their friends, their cats, their pets, their way home, their mothers, their parents. I think, I genuinely wanted to leave room for interpretation for people, because this song is really I want to say not just spiritualistic, but sort of surrealistic in a way. You describe it, not me. You know what I mean?
Right. You don't want to define it for others as well. I get what you mean. So I've gone on a bit of a self-discovery journey as well, and mine was actually to come here to Indonesia. So I grew up. I left when I was a very young child and grew up overseas in Canada. And when I came back, that was my self-discovery, to kind of get in touch with my own roots, know my own geography, my own history, my own culture, which I knew nothing about. Can you tell us a little bit about how your recent self-journey has changed you as an artist and as a person?
Oh yeah, maybe a couple of trips. Back in 2016, I do this voluntary thing in Labuan Bajo in Flores.
Wow.
Where I recreate Taman Bacaan. How do you translate that?
Yeah, just that.
Yeah, Taman Bacaan. We put books in schools.
It's basically like a reading kind of area, right?
We put books so for the kids to and the idea that we're just human beings and the golden rule exists. Like if you be good to others, if you don't want to do bad to others, don't do bad to them.
Yep.
And
Do unto others what you want others to do
Exactly.
for yourself, something like that.
Thank you. And then the Ubud trip, I feel like living off the grid in Ubud, like where the nearest mini mart is like 4 kilometers from you, like it's really hard. And you know, just being by yourself, like reading and watching movies and listening to more music in a much more different lens. I think that's what that's the journey right there.
And has it helped you kind of open your creative channels in order for you to help create?
Yes, sir.
It's made it easier?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So I want to play a little game with you, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
It's called What's on Your Mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flash up a couple of pics, but I don't want you to think too much into it. I just want you to just tell me, blurt out the first thing that comes into your mind, okay? All right, we're going to start off with the first one. This one's a little bit controversial. Oh, no, this one is, yeah, okay.
This one?
Yes, this one, right behind you.
Musical genius.
India, yes, okay.
Musical genius.
So you've worked with him in the past as well, before?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me a little bit about why you think he's a genius.
I think he has this, well, this might not go well for him, but I call him like many times. I think he's a psychopathic angel. I genuinely said that because he has this different type of mindset, yeah, and the way he thinks, the way he predicts things. Like I knew him since like 2017, 16, and then what he said to like what I'm gonna do, actually happens.
He actually did it.
Like in real time. Like I can see the growth. Like that's, yeah, I think, yeah.
And I think he's one of those guys that he just sets trends, doesn't he? Like he's not the one that does the following, but he does what other people follow.
Legit one of the best songwriters in Indo.
Yeah, I love India as well, I agree. Okay, next one.
Meaning of it? Oh. Yeah.
Kanye. Kanye.
My boy.
Yeah?
Role model.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how so? In what way? Because he's covered so much. I mean, every industry. He's not one guy that you can really just put one label on. There's just so many, so many layers to Kanye West. What's your favorite thing about him?
Confidence.
Okay.
His confidence, like the way he moves, the way he speaks, the way he sees things, and the way he shapes music.
Yeah.
The way he transcends hip hop and music per se, and then he's speaking his truth. That's what I like about him so much. Yeah.
He's a visionary, and I would go so far as to put the label you put on India on him as well. Yeah. He's a bit of a psychopathic genius himself, isn't he?
Exactly.
And I remember watching a short clip on Joe Rogan in regards to him describing those really weird shoes that he made, and he explained it. For example, I'll just give you one quick example. Why do we have tongues on shoes? Don't those things always shift left and right? He's like, what I did was I just took it out and I made a little curved part where your feet should go when you walk. That should make it more comfortable. And I thought about it, wow. So he was already thinking like way ahead before.
Way ahead.
Right, like
and
levels.
And he says something like, how much does Earth cost?
Okay.
Right?
Interesting question.
Something like that, something like that. Something you haven't really thought about.
Makes you think, right?
Makes you think,
Love
exactly.
it. All right. And I hope that your music, because that's what it did too. When I was listening to your lyrics, it got me to thinking of other things. I was getting distracted there. Anyway, we got one more for you. Have a look at this. Okay, this is a person meditating. Do you meditate?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, tell me about it. Why?
Because I reap the benefit of it. The idea that you should be aware of distractions and then let it go. It helps you focus more.
It clears a lot of people say it clears your flow for everything else, right, for the day. Do you find it difficult? I myself have problems meditating.
Yeah.
Because I have a mind that runs like everywhere at 100 miles an hour.
Same. So I think back then what I do is I went to this, I do per minute, and then I do per 5 minutes, and then I do like...
You build it up.
Yeah, max I can do is like 30 minutes, but that's on a rare occasion.
Wow.
Rare occasion. Like, I'm not gonna say that I'm the most spiritual guy ever.
Right,
yeah.
right.
But every time I do it, and then I do this 21 days of meditation plus homeworks from Deepak Chopra.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, from a really good friend of mine. She sent me like the, voice notes and every day, like, saying mantras and all that. And it really, I think it helps a lot.
Helps you with your songwriting?
Yes.
Are you a moody songwriter? Like, do you find you have to be in a certain mood?
Yes.
What mood do you have to be in?
Any kind of mood. What I need is to be able to find a zone where I can catch a lightning in a bottle.
Okay, like
So
a feeling.
Like a feeling. So when the time is right, when the mood is good, when the emotion is there, and when the beat is perfect,
yeah,
I can do it. I can really do it.
I know what you mean. In sports, they call it being in a zone.
Exactly.
Once you're in a zone, then you know you're there. Real quick, so is Pulang part of a larger project then that you have ongoing?
Hopefully.
It's okay. Tell me a little bit about it. Is it part of a full release album that you're gonna have?
Yeah, me with Ponyoton right now, we're working on singles.
Okay.
But hopefully it will lead to like a full-length album.
Okay, we hope so too. But Pulang right now is available on all digital streaming platforms?
Everywhere.
All right, there you go, guys. You heard it here.
Go stream it.
Pulang, get your downloads and your streams. This has been Mattermost. Fadil, it's been great talking to you. I hope to catch you again real soon.
Amen to that.
All right, we're going to take another short break here on the C Morning Show, but in case you did join us late, don't worry, we're going to recap some of our earlier stories from around the world when we return here on the C Morning Show.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 restaurant.
Gua yang penting apa yang gua makan bisa gua buang pada saat gua olahraga gitu.
Jadi Adila kalau ketemu mungkin dia ketawa tuh.
Dengan proses, gue bersyukur banget Kubu Junior tuh sempat bubar tahun 2016-2017.
Feelingnya sabu-sabu, karena sabu-sabu kita cuma makannya setahun sekali.
Kalau kita dengerin Spotify ya, Pak gimana sih caranya aku bisa masuk di sini gitu? Ya nggak boleh menghalangi lah.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulisnya.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
The Indonesian Navy now has a simulator to help boost the damage control capability of ship crews. And the Navy Chief Admiral Muhammad Ali inaugurated the facility yesterday.
The Second Fleet headquarters in Surabaya now houses a simulator to help train ship crews in damage control. In development between 2022 and 2023, the facility occupies an area over 2,000 square meters and able to provide realistic damage control situation. Speaking in the inauguration ceremony on February the 24th, Navy Chief Admiral Muhammad Ali outlined the goals for the development, including the improvement of human resources.
Jadi simulator ini adalah ditujukan untuk melatih seluruh ABK kapal dalam menanggulangi masalah kebocoran di kapal. Jadi kalau ada kedaruratan dan ada kejadian kebocoran di atas kapal, mereka bisa melaksanakan penanggulangan secara lebih baik dan secara lebih cepat dan tepat. Dan ini kelebihan dari peralatan yang ada di sini bisa disesuaikan dengan kondisi cuaca. Ya, kita bisa atur dengan state berapa yang kita inginkan. Nanti mereka bisa mengalami dengan motion di atas kapal, ada gerakan seolah-olah seperti kondisi di laut. Jadi ombaknya besar, bagaimana cara dia menangani masalah kebocoran bisa dilaksanakan dan dilatih di sini.
The simulator could be used for training in ship rescue operations, fire prevention, and chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear defense. C2D contributor reporting from Surabaya, East Java.
Moving on to other news, Mount Gamalama in Ternate, Maluku has been showing increasing activities over the past 2 days, and officials are bearing activities within 1.5 kilometers from the mountain. On Saturday, a column of thick white smoke continued to rise from the mountain, reaching up to 500 meters in height. Observers also recorded multiple seismic activities between midnight and 8 a.m. Officials have also advised residents to remain calm.
Ini dari pukul 00 sampai 08 WIT terjadi kegempaan vulkanik terekam di seismik kami itu 1 kali kejadian, ditambah lagi gempa tektonik jauh 1 kali juga. Dan kalau sesuai data itu dan kita bandingkan dengan kemarin, memang ada penurunan karena di tanggal 23 kemarin sempat terekam kegempaan vulkanik mencapai 5 kali kejadian, ditambah gempa hembusan 6 kali dan tektonik lokal 4 kali.
Soekarno-Hatta Airport Police have dismantled a child pornography ring with 5 suspects in custody. The Violent Crimes Against Children International Task Force had previously notified authorities about the group, leading to investigations into the financial transactions of 1 suspect. The suspects served in various roles, including handling sales to international clients and providing facilities. They are facing charges related to child protection and electronic information laws and face up to 15 years in prison.
Informasi ini adalah hasil kerjasama dengan Satuan Tugas Kekerasan Seksual yang di Amerika yang memberikan informasi kepada kita. Jadi informasi itu kita terima di bulan Agustus 2023, maka kejadian dan peristiwa untuk merekam, menghubungi, berkomunikasi, dan mempergunakan anak sebagai objek untuk kekerasan seksual itu terjadi sebelumnya. Dan kita yakini bahwa proses itu sudah lama terjadi, tetapi terungkapnya mulai dari 2023. Seperti tadi disampaikan oleh Pak Kasat bahwa ada kurang lebih 1.000 gambar dan kurang lebih 3.000 kalau tidak salah tadi video yang tentu sudah diproduksi, dihasilkan. Memang produksinya dengan secara manual menggunakan peralatan handphone, dan itu bisa saja kapan terjadi dan tidak perlu memerlukan keahlian, sehingga memang kita yakini bahwa proses untuk menghasilkan, memproduksi konten yang berbau pornografi ini sudah lebih dari setahun dilakukan oleh si pelaku ini.
And the prices of key commodities, including rice, are still climbing in some parts of Indonesia, leading to outcry. In Kendal, Central Java, locally produced rice now sells for around 15,000 rupiah, up by 5,000 rupiah from the previous 10. The mentik variety now sells for 17,000 rupiah and the mentik wangi super 18,000 rupiah. Sellers are now calling for price control measures. In a Jakarta market, various types of chilies are selling for an average of 90,000 rupiah per kilogram, nearly twice the previous price. Many sellers have complained of lower revenues as buyers cut back on purchase. One of them suggested that lower production was behind the skyrocketing prices. International Childhood Cancer Day is commemorated with engaging activities for patients and parents, and this is all organized by the Indonesian Children's Oncology Foundation. The activities include drawing, performances, cake decorating, and also a fun walk.
The Indonesian Children's Oncology Foundation, or YOAI, is holding various activities in Jakarta on February 24th and 25th to commemorate International Childhood Cancer Day, which fall on February 15th. The activities involve childhood cancer patients and their families. One of the activities is called Writing It Out Loud, where patients, survivors, parents, volunteers, companions, and health workers are asked to write down the challenges they face. The result will be attached to a media board that will be carried out during a fun walk. Additionally, there will be a cake decorating agenda and many more activities.
This year, the theme of the celebration is unveiling challenges. That means that we have, the parents or the patient itself have to write out loud what they want, what they have in mind to upgrade the treatment of childhood cancer in everywhere, in every country.
Also facilitating the activity, namely the Cancer Buster Community or CBC, pioneered by survivors of childhood cancer.
The children patients that are still fighting with cancer to be able to look up to us and to believe that there are cancer survivors, and in that case for them to be able to crush the cancer and to become a survivors like us. That's the main goal for us. And on top of that, we also hope that in creating this community, we could empower each other as survivors, because become a survivor is not, it means that we need to enter into the real world, right? We need to return to school or maybe find a job, and it will be difficult for cancer survivors because they spend most of their time before in medication.
In addition to this initiative, YOAI offers a range of other programs aimed at assisting children with cancer. These include providing medication support, implementing recovery programs, offering counseling services, conducting public awareness campaigns, and more. Modi Kalisha and Nico Arianto for See Today.
And now we are going to take a short break, but stay with us because after the break, Paul will return with a recap from the world of sports. Stay with us on the C Morning Show.
The Indonesian State-Owned Enterprises Ministry has underlined its commitment to supporting small and medium enterprises by launching vending machines at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport.
Qatar has advanced to the quarterfinals of the 2023 AFC Asian Cup after defeating Palestine 2-1 in the round of 16 at the Al Ayed Stadium in Al Khor.
So we'll be back with the Daily Dose of Entertainment. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Dulu kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan,
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
The China Earthquake Network Center reported that the quake rocked the Erterpen County in Aksu Prefecture shortly after 2 a.m. local time.
Minister January Makamba was a guest in one of our news programs, the 3-Hour News Show yesterday. While he was in the studio, he used the opportunity to explain the current state of diplomatic ties between Tanzania and Indonesia.
Indonesian Foreign Affairs Minister Retno Marsudi addressed the UN Security Council during an open debate in New York.
Ini adalah open debate Dewan Keamanan PBB ketiga mengenai Gaza dalam 3 bulan terakhir dan Indonesia hadir di ketiganya.
China has been racing against time for rescue and disaster relief work after a landslide on Monday struck a mountainous village in southwest China's Yunnan province.
Yang penting apa yang gue makan bisa gue buang pada saat gue olahraga, gitu.
Jadi Amila kalau ketemu mungkin dia ketawa.
Dengan proses, gue bersyukur banget Kubu Junior tuh sempat bubar tahun 2016-2017.
Feelingnya sabu-sabu, karena sabu-sabu kita cuma makannya setahun sekali.
Kalau kita dengerin Spotify ya, Pak gimana sih caranya aku bisa masuk di sini gitu-gitu. Ya nggak boleh menghalangi lah.
Pelawak tuh ramean.
Ngomongin
Tiga. Ini sendiri.
Komika itu nggak harus dilahirkan ya.
Ini lagu untuk siapa, Min? Oh, yang senang dengan baju kuning. Berarti partai itu ya. Oke deh, nanti kita puterin langsung. Kita muterin Lampung sampai pusing. Awal gua ngerosting itu ditemuin sama Bang Panji sebenarnya. Nah, jadi mau tahu gua di roasting Kang Maman gimana? Langsung aja saksikan Teman Bicara Maman.
Hey, welcome back, folks. It's time for a quick sports recap. We're going to begin with some football news from the English Premier League as Manchester City secured a hard-earned 1-0 victory at Bournemouth on Saturday as Phil Foden's goal moved them within 1 point of leaders Liverpool. Phil Foden converted from close range during the 24th minute after some good work by Erling Haaland, and it proved just enough for Pep Guardiola's side in what was a difficult match. City lacked their usual fluency but still stretched their undefeated league run to 11 matches with a second successive 1-0 victory after a midweek win over Brentford. City has now collected 59 points from 26 matches, with Liverpool, who played Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final on Sunday. Keeping it in the EPL, Arsenal has also defeated Newcastle 4-1 in match week 26 of the 2023-24 Premier League season, and this match took place at home at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal was able to fully dominate the match from the start as the Gunners opened the scoring in the 18th minute through Newcastle's Sven Botman's own goal. Kai Havertz then followed it up with a second goal for Arsenal, and the North London club managed to control 65% of ball possession in the first half alone. And after the halftime break, Arsenal continued their dominance, and Mikel Arteta's team scored 2 more goals through Bukayo Saka and Jakub Kiwior. During the 84th minute, Newcastle was able to cut the deficit through a goal by Joel Willock. And with this result, Arsenal are now third in the standings with 58 points, while Newcastle are sitting in 8th spot with 37. On to some tennis news. Jasmine Paolini pulled off a gritty comeback victory on Saturday to capture the highest level title of her career, defeating qualifier Anna Kalinskaya 4-6, 7-5, and 7-5 in the WTA 1000 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships final. Paolini, who is the world number 26 from Italy, outlasted 40th-ranked Kalinskaya in 2 hours and 13 minutes, battling back from a breakdown in each of the second and third sets. Paolini was able to avenge her loss to Kalinskaya from 1 month ago in the Australian Open's 4th round. And Saturday's victory now assures her of a top 20 debut when the rankings are updated on Monday. And with this win, Paolini claims her second career singles title on the WTA Tour and her first at the WTA 1000 level.
The 2024 women's.
Let's move on to some basketball news from the NBA. LeBron James is back on the court. He collected 30 points and 9 assists along with 7 rebounds, while Anthony Davis had 28 points and 13 rebounds in the Los Angeles Lakers' 7th victory in 9 games. The score was 123-118 for the Lakers over the San Antonio Spurs on Friday night.
47.
Rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama had 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists in his first road game against the Lakers. The French rookie sensation scored 16 points in a dominant first quarter. However, Anthony Davis answered his fellow #1 overall pick's challenge with some impressive play of his own over the next 2 quarters while the Lakers maintained their lead. Davis was able to sit out the entire 4th quarter of the second game in a back-to-back set, and Jackson Hayes performed quite capably in his place against Wembanyama, while the Lakers cruised to their 12th win in 18 games. Meanwhile, D'Angelo Russell had 22 points and 6 assists on his 28th birthday, while Rui Hachimura added 17 points for the Lakers, who have not been able to move higher than 9th place in the Western Conference standings despite their surge in recent weeks.
LeBron holds on to it over.
More basketball updates out of the NBA's Jimmy Butler had 23 points and 9 rebounds before being sent to the locker room early as the Miami Heat held off the New Orleans Pelicans 106-95 also on Friday night. Let's check out the highlights.
Miami Heat beat New Orleans Pelicans 106-95 on Friday night before an emotionally charged crowd. Bam Adebayo scored 24 points for Miami, which returned from its All-Star break by snapping the Pelicans' 4-game winning streak in what also marked the Heat's 7th straight victory over New Orleans. Miami reserve Thomas Bryant along with Pelicans players Jose Alvarado and Najee Marshall were ejected after the on-court melee with 11 minutes and 19 seconds to go. Even a couple fans were escorted out, one of them after throwing things at Heat players from one of the first few rows. The dust-up began when Heat center Kevin Love grabbed Zion Williamson to prevent a layup after Williamson had stolen the ball from Jimmy Butler in the backcourt. Williamson fell to the court after Love's fall. Duncan Robinson scored 17 points and Tyler Hero scored 15 for the Heat. Hero, however, appeared to hurt his left knee with 1 minute and 40 seconds left and hobbled straight to the locker room after he was helped to his feet. Williamson had 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists for New Orleans, which played a second straight night without high-scoring wing Brandon Ingram and lost for just the second time in 10 games. Guard C.J. McCollum also left the game in the first half with a left ankle injury after initially trying to play through it.
And that last update wraps up our sports recap. We have one final break to take here on the program, but do stick around. We have more entertainment news for you coming up next.
And we have more business updates right here from our nation, where the Association of Indonesian Automotive Manufacturers, or GAIKINDO, reported that over 1 million vehicles were sold in Indonesia last year.
The Indonesian government has announced plans to allocate around 4.8 billion rupiahs for this year's pre-employment program. Now, the program aims to help boost economic recovery, especially for those affected by COVID-related layoffs.
The Indonesian government is once again providing food aid in the form of rice reserves to support the public amid higher prices of the commodity in the market.
Stok bulog sekarang ini alhamdulillah masih pada posisi yang baik, masih 1,4 juta ton.
Kind of 10 days, the priority has been getting to California and making the miles and saving our money as best we can.
We're going to ride 80 miles tomorrow. We've just ridden 70 and we're all starving.
Took the first couple of corners and felt pretty comfortable, so I thought I might get it.
So that was just too much rear brake, destroyed the engine.
The end of the first day of competition.
The winner of the challenge today was Brody.
Revealed today by generations unborn when they weave their spell. The Cup of Dreams. It's football's biggest prize on the greatest stage.
Asalnya itu dari Bangka. Jadi kalau lapis legit itu kalau nggak pakai Wisman kayaknya kurang sip.
Kalau zaman saya dulu masih kecil, lapis legit itu barang mahal.
Rezekinya itu berlapis-lapis.
Agar supaya tradisi dan budaya Tionghoa itu tetap lestari.
If you want the best coffee beans in the world, this is where you get them, the city of Sidikalang. Now, most Sumatran coffee beans are grown in the area in and around Lake Toba.
Kebetulan di tempat ini kan berada di ketinggian 1380, jadi aroma dan cita rasa itu khas.
Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Welcome back to the program, everyone. Before we get to our entertainment news, we've got some important coverage to share with you as the Indonesian Navy now has a simulator to help boost the damage control capability of their ship crews.
Navy Chief Admiral Muhammad Ali inaugurated the facility yesterday.
The Second Fleet headquarters in Surabaya now houses a simulator to help train ship crews in damage control. In development between 2022 and 2023, the facility occupies an area over 2,000 square meters and able to provide realistic damage control situation. Speaking in the inauguration ceremony on February the 24th, Navy Chief Admiral Muhammad Ali outlined the goals for the development, including the improvement of human resources.
Jadi simulator ini adalah ditujukan untuk melatih seluruh ABK kapal dalam menanggulangi masalah kebocoran di kapal. Jadi kalau ada kedaruratan dan ada kejadian kebocoran di atas kapal, mereka bisa melaksanakan penanggulangan secara lebih baik dan secara lebih cepat dan tepat. Dan ini kelebihan dari peralatan yang ada di sini bisa disesuaikan dengan kondisi cuaca. Ya, kita bisa atur dengan state berapa yang kita inginkan. Nanti mereka bisa mengalami dengan motion di atas kapal, ada gerakan seolah-olah seperti kondisi di laut. Jadi ombaknya besar, bagaimana cara dia menangani masalah kebocoran bisa dilaksanakan dan dilatih di sini.
The simulator could be used for training in ship rescue operations, fire prevention, and chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear defense. C2D contributor reporting from Surabaya, East Java.
All right, that was news from the Indonesian Navy, but meanwhile, American music group the Jonas Brothers performed for the first time in Indonesia on Saturday night. And just like delving into memory lane, Joe, Nick, and Kevin brought all Jonatics to indulge in the nostalgia of the 2000s.
So here we go. The Jonas Brothers performed on stage and energetically entertained the audience at ICE BSD Tangerang, Banten last night. The brothers played their hit songs such as Burn It Up, Year 3000, That's Just the Way We Roll, and also Love Bug.
And of course, they did not forget to perform songs from the iconic musical film Camp Rock that capitulated their names, such as Introducing Me and Gotta Find You. Without much bridging, they continued their stage act with SOS, one of their most popular songs from 2007.
And many of the Jonatics, who are mostly from the 90s generation and grew up with a pop rock band, sang along with the brothers. And the Jonas Brothers' performance is a salute to the band's album discography, hence the name, Jonas Brothers Celebrating 5 Albums World Tour.
I didn't know they were called Jonatics. Did you guys?
I had no idea. We learned this today as well.
But the most interesting thing is, during the concert, it was actually, people made that a reunion.
Ah.
Since people have grown up, you know, the 90s generation.
Sure.
Early 2000, they were still in school, and now they mostly have their own families, they're busy with their work, so.
Right.
Reunion at the Jonas Brothers concert.
There you go. Wow. So not just a reunion for them, but for everyone else in attendance as well. That's really great. And I'm really glad to see that like big names such as Jonas Brothers are actually making a stop in Indonesia as one of their actual stops on any sort of Asian or Southeast Asian tour as well.
Yeah.
So perhaps this will be a good year for concerts. We know that there's going to be 3 big K-pop concerts coming up this year as well. I don't know if you guys are into K-pop, but NCT Dream and I believe Treasure and another one, aespa, is all coming this year.
Are you going to be watching, Paul?
No, I'm not a K-pop fan myself, but my daughter is. I don't know if she'll be up for going to a concert. I haven't brought her to a concert yet, but perhaps this is the year.
Wow.
She's 9 years old. So.
If she's a big fan of the K-pop concert, it would be very memorable
Yeah.
In the making as well.
I just don't know if I have the energy because I'm going to have to keep up with all these young ones. Anyway, thank you all for keeping up with us for the last 3 hours. It's been a great program this Sunday morning. We hope that you've had an enjoyable weekend and hope to continue this weekend throughout the Sunday as well. It's been a great pleasure to bring you the news as always. Make sure that while we're not connected on the air, that you're still following us through our social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram, x.com, or YouTube at See Today News.
And See Today can now be enjoyed in Australia on Foxtel's Flash app or in Macau Cable TV Channel 84. Or if you're in the Philippines, you can also watch the Converge Vision Channel 858 and Sigtel Singapore Channel 15 and StarHub Channel 720.
Meanwhile, for Telkomsel users, you can also watch See Today on the MaxStream app and the My Telkomsel app as well. And don't forget to also tune in again tomorrow, same time, same channel. And be sure to also catch our afternoon show every day at 5 p.m., the 3-hour news show indeed. I'm Sathi Promesi.
I'm Sarah Wayne.
And I'm Paul Palelli. Happy Sunday, everyone. See Indonesia, see the world, see today.
Stay tuned with me, Chef Rayhan, only on Satisfactory, Cook Healthy and Cook Happy. Hello guys, back again with me, Chef Rayhan, only on Satisfactory, Cook Healthy and Cook Happy. Today, I'm gonna make some snacks. It's really healthy and also make it you feel better to doing your job every day. So, I'm using some pumpkin in here and the dish, we call it Pumpkin Energy Bites. So it's a really simple snack. You just need some of the peanut butter, vanilla powder, salt for the fibers and also the carbo. We need oat, extra sweetness. We added some honey and then we have some chia seeds and then a little bit of the chocolate chips to add it some flavor and aroma. We're using cinnamon powder. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna steam the pumpkin first. I'm gonna steam the pumpkin first until it's soft and add a little bit of the sweetness on it. I'm gonna steam it about maybe 10 to 12 minutes. Okay guys, after waiting about 10 to 12 minutes, and I think the pumpkin is already really smooth. And now we just put it into a bowl. So basically for the energy bites, it's also you can use like many fibrous ingredients. You can add it with some peanut and maybe add it like dried mixed berries. It's also a really good too. And then first we a little bit